against Lenape and came back and won. They also had a big comeback in the Diamond Classic's first round. Mark, this is a team that simply cannot be counted out at any time.
The one thing is, when they get down by 6, that's when they get their confidence. But they really do have a lot of confidence right now, and especially today, they're going with their ace, Chris Murray. In fact, Chris Murray and Kyle Smith, who will be going for Cherry Hill East, both of them, Ed, due to the NJSIAA pitching restrictions, can go 6 innings today. So we're going to see 2 pitchers for both teams today, and we're going to have to see that pitching depth.
Murray and Smith make an outstanding matchup, but what's been doing it for both teams is the fact that both have been able to use 2 pitchers in virtually every game of their tournament.
There's no doubt about it, and we expect to see Doug Rodio, who has been virtually unhittable, coming in as a closer for Cherry Hill East. Meanwhile, Tim Bilo has pitched a lot for Cherokee as well, and he and Murray have formed a very good 1-2 tandem.
Well, these two are 2 of the most proud programs in South Jersey baseball, and today, one of them will come away as Group 4 champions. The Cherokee Chiefs and the Cherry Hill East Cougars. The battle for the South Jersey Group 4 baseball title is coming up next, right here on Garden State Cable TV's High School Sports Spotlight. Eastern High School in Voorhees, New Jersey, the neutral site for the South Jersey Group 4 championship. Cherokee and Cherry Hill East set to do battle for the title. Ed Bankin back here with Mark Narducci on a scorching day. Mark, before we give the lineup, what is the latest Garden State temperature gauge telling us?
Ed, 91.4, and it looks like it's getting hotter.
It's going to continue to heat up, as it will on the field between these 2 proud programs. As we see, the teams are just about set to get ready. First, let's take a look at the batting order for the visiting Cherokee Chiefs. Officially, they are the visitors because they are the 5th seed. Ho-Wan Lee, the center fielder, will lead off. It'll be Derek McGee, the first baseman, batting second. Chris Murray will be on the mound today, and he will bat third. Left fielder Dave August will bat cleanup. The shortstop Mike Scanzano will hit 5th. Marcus Pegram in right field will bat 6th. Chris Spina, the DH today, he will bat 7th. Tim Bilo at third base will hit 8th. And Kevin Manning at second base will be the number 9 hitter. That is the starting batting order for Cherokee. As we see the coaches exchanging the lineups, getting ready to go here. And again, it is a warm day, a humid day, and it should continue to get hotter. Let's take a look at the defense for Cherry Hill East. Starting in the outfield will be Greg Rubin, Brett Canosa, and Chris Canosa making up center and right field. Doug Rodio will be at third base today. Joe Kolodzey at shortstop. John Brown over at second base. Nick Daly at first base. Ralph Jedlicka doing the catching for Kyle Smith. And Mark, as you mentioned before, Kyle Smith is a big reason why Cherry Hill East is in this championship game.
There's no question about it, Eddie. He got the win over J.M. Gold, as we said, of Toms River North, as we look at Doug Rodio there for Cherry Hill East. And then he also got the win over Toms River East. And I think beating those 2 teams, especially going on the road and beating East, I mean, Smith is just 4-1 on the season, but he's really come on lately. He's been pitching their main games. And the thing about it is both coaches, as we talked about, have been using multiple pitchers. So they're going to have some innings from a number of people today. But the thing about Kyle Smith that we're going to see today is he's got a great split-finger fastball. In fact, when all those scouts were there to see J.M. Gold last Friday, Ed, Kyle Smith turned a few heads.
And he most certainly did. That was, from what we understand, a scout convention at that game. I know, Mark, you were there. A lot of people there on hand to see Gold, but a lot of scouts on hand, a lot of the media on hand, too, was certainly the marquee matchup in South Jersey that day. And, of course, if Kyle Smith does falter, though, as you mentioned, he can go 6 innings. Doug Rodio is ready to go. He's been kind of the cleanup guy when Kyle Smith has started. Rodio's coming in relief. And Cherokee's had a similar situation. And this Cherokee team, Mark, got off to a slow start this season. They had some gaudy expectations to start the year. They were a top 5 team in both polls. Lost a few games early, and a lot of people wondered, well, how good is this team? Then they got on a roll. First thing they did was win a lot of the division games they were supposed to win. Then they had a couple of big games, including one of the Diamond Classic, which they came away with wins, and now here they are playing for the title.
Ed, they were 2-4 after losing to Lenape, a 9-5 game, and I caught the end of that game, and they just didn't look like a good team at that point. Bill Hassler, the head coach, who's done a great job here, got the team aside and talked to them for a long, long period of time, asked them to look in the mirror and the kind of effort, and he just thought they could do better. Next thing you know, they reeled off 15 in a row, and obviously they're one of the top 5 teams in South Jersey at this point.
And this team certainly has the capability to pull off a winning streak like that, as they have shown. And that turnaround really got them right back into the thick of things, and nobody was talking Diamond Classic or Series Contender in Group 4 earlier on in the year, but they turned things around. And we mentioned how Cherokee's had a couple of big comebacks in the tournament. They had the big comeback win over Shawnee and Lenape. They were also down in a Diamond Classic game in Washington Township, 8-2. They had 1 out, nobody on the 7th inning. All they did was make it 8-5, load the bases, and Dave August hit a grand slam. So that can get contagious with a team. They start doing it once or twice, it starts to catch on. I think when a team gets in that situation, that's part of the intangibles that puts them in the final, is that they really believe no matter what the situation is, they're going to have a chance to win.
There's no question. The only thing is, if they get down 6 today, I think they're going to be in serious trouble, because with Kyle Smith and then Rodio waiting in relief, it's certainly not going to be an easy task. And as much as they say, hey, we feel good when we're down 6, then we feel comfortable, you know they don't want to get behind this team.
Yeah, a case where I don't think that's part of Bill Hassler's game plan. It's just been a situation where this team has managed to come back. And as far as Cherry Hill East, well, they play in that tough Olympic American division, and it was anybody's division early on, and then they seemed to take charge and really got it going. They suffered a loss on opening day, 4-2, a division loss. And since then, they've really recovered nicely. They've already clinched the division title. They've gotten that out of the way. And as we know, these two teams playing the Olympic Conference, it only makes you better as the season goes on.
That's right. In fact, Kyle Smith, the guy we're going to see on the mound, lost that opening game to Washington Township and Steve Aarons by a 4-2 score that time. He hasn't lost since, and East hasn't lost too many since either. Of course, one of East's losses was down in South Carolina to that Audubon team that ended up winning the South Carolina Hawaiian Tropic Tournament. So Cherry Hill East, and of course losing to Gloucester Catholic as well, and there are a lot of teams that lose to Gloucester Catholic.
Well, Audubon, as you mentioned, Mark, one of the other local teams which is playing for a championship today. They are taking on Pennsville over at Cherry Hill East, which is the neutral site for the Group 2 championship. And, well, Mark, it's baseball final day, but of course Cherokee already has a champion in softball. A thrilling win yesterday over Toms River North 2-1. They had to do it in 8 innings. So Cherokee going for the double win in 2 days, trying to get the baseball and softball championship. Mark, again, there's a case right there. You get some great pitching on the softball side as well. They faced 18 strikeouts at the hands of Lauren Anderson, but managed to rally to win that game.
And Anderson had only had 30 the game before that. So they were facing someone that threw a little bit of gas. So congratulations to Mike Medrick. What a job he's done with that Cherokee program over the years. And that was a game on Garden State Cable, and certainly a thrilling finish, 2-1 in 8 innings.
Cherokee, when you say they were rebuilding this year in softball, a lot of people believe that with all the losses they had, that maybe in that Group 4 they wouldn't be able to come around, but they certainly did so. When we talk about Cherry Hill East, there's Steve Kozineski, one of the assistant coaches. This is an outstanding coaching staff for both sides. A lot of victories between the two coaches, and really their assistants certainly are a big part of their program as well.
Well, Kozineski works here at Eastern, so he didn't even have to take the team bus here. He was here greeting the team.
And of course, Dave Martin, the head coach, longtime winning coach at Cherry Hill East. Bill Hassler in the center there with the Cherokee Chiefs as they get set to go. As Mark mentioned, Cherry Hill East won the title in 1988. Cherokee won in 1985. Two very proud programs with rich traditions in baseball, and now they will go at it today. And now the Cherokee Chiefs are taking the field, so apparently they did have to flip for it. Cherokee in the field, so the Chiefs are, I guess, officially the home team, Mark. Maybe because it's a neutral site, they had to decide. We thought they'd go by seeding. So Cherry Hill East will be batting first. So we're going to check their lineup here as the Cougars set to bat here in the top of the first inning. Cherokee will be the home team despite being the lower seed in this tournament, as you get a look at Chris Murray warming up on the mound.
Talk about Bill Hassler, 231 wins, 157 losses in his career. Of course, he coached the 1 year at Maple Shade, and the rest have been here at Cherokee, where he's just done a great job with this program. And Ed, I understand that the win over Lenape, that was the last game that they will be playing on that field, because there will be some construction and some building, and Cherokee will be moving on literally down to another field next season.
You see the Cherry Hill East Cougars. They are one of the more vocal dugouts in South Jersey, as you'll hear throughout the day. So Cherry Hill East will be batting the first, so we'll check their lineup as we take a look at who Cherry Hill East is going to send up here to start the first inning as they continue to make some noise and get ready for the championship. East, again, coming in with their victory over Toms River East. John Braut, the second baseman, will lead off. Greg Rubin in left field will bat second. Ralph Jedlicka, the catcher, will bat third. Doug Rodio, the third baseman, bats fourth. Kyle Smith, the pitcher, will hit in the number 5 spot today. Nick Daly, good slugger from the right side, batting in the number 6 spot. Arnold Zappasodi in the DH will bat 7th. Joe Kolodzey will be batting 8th. He is the shortstop, and Chris Canosa will bat 9th. Nick Daly, the left-handed hitter, I should say, said he's a good hitter from the right side. He gives a little extra power in that 6th spot from that left-hander spot.
And they'll be facing a pitcher in Chris Murray, who has a lot of gas this year, Eddie. He's already set the single-season school record of strikeouts with 85. The previous record holder was someone you know very well, Mike Schick. who had 81 for that team there. You look at the defense.
Chris Murray will be pitching to field. Alonzo behind the plate. It'll be Derek McGee at first base. Kevin Manning at second base. Mike Scanzano will be at shortstop. Tim Byler will be the third baseman. Dave August in left field. Ho-Wan Lee, the speedster, in center field. And Marcus Pegram will be in right field. Just about set to go. Again, temperatures in the low 90s. There you get a look at John Braut leading things off for Cherry Hill East. Braut coming in with an average of 269 on the season in that leadoff spot. Has walked 16 times. That leads the team. And also is a threat to run when he gets on.
As we said, one of the real keys of this Cherry Hill East team, though, Ed, has been the bottom of the order. Kolodzey and Chris Canosa hitting 8 and 9 have just been on a tear over the last month, and Zappasodi has recently cracked the lineup, and he's been hitting the ball.
Well, first pitch is over for a called strike, so we are underway here at Eastern High School as Murray delivers for a strike. Murray has been outstanding throughout this tournament.
He's been outstanding all year. He's 10 and 1. His only loss was to Steiner, 2-1, Ed, and those are 2 unearned runs.
Ground ball over to third base. Bilo has trouble with it, and reaching first base on the error is Braut. And Cherry Hill East has their leadoff base runner on here in the first.
Pretty good curveball that time by Murray. Braut waited on it very patiently, and it's a play Bilo usually makes.
And this is not the kind of team you want to give opportunities to. So an error to start the game for Cherokee here in the top of the first. And Greg Rubin will step to the plate now for the Cougars. He's batting at .232 on the season.
Greg's a very good bunter, so you have to watch him here. He has very good bat control. That's why he bats in this number 2 hole.
Has 3 extra base hits this year, all 3 of them doubles, and he does square around the bunt. He bunts a hard bunt. This is going to be trouble. Bilo Fields will make the play to first base for out number 1. So the sacrifice is good by Rubin as Braut moves up to second base. Always good for a fielder after making an error that you know they want to get the next one hit to them to try and make up for it.
And you're right. Initially, it looked like he was going to get a base hit because Rubin gets down the line pretty well, Ed. But I'll tell you, Bilo doing a nice job on the recovery that time as Murray overran the ball.
It was Ralph Jedlicka. He comes in with an average of .267 on the season. Has 3 extra base hits, all 3 of them doubles.
The thing about Jedlicka, though, he scored 22 runs, so he's crossing the bases a lot.
There's that off-speed pitch. And it misses for a ball, 1-0. Murray can mix it up very well on the mound with his pitches.
Yeah, the other day, Murray came in relief, Ed, and got hit around a little bit for a couple of innings by Lenape. Then he really settled down. He's the kind of guy, if you're going to get him, you better get him early because as he gets momentum, he's very, very tough.
2 balls and no strikes account. These 2 teams did meet earlier in the year, and Cherry Hill East came away with the win over Cherokee. But a much different Cherokee team now than the one that played Cherry Hill East earlier in the season. Last ball, and it just missed inside, so it's 3-0.
In fact, that was an 11-3 win, and that was the only game this year where Rodio went the distance on the mound.
So we'll see if Jedlicka is looking here at 3-0. He does have a runner at second base with nobody out.
There's no question he's looking, especially with Rodio up next. You want to get a couple of runners on base for him. He might be looking at more than one here.
And now time is called as Murray steps off the rubber and Jedlicka will stand back in again. Mind games, of course, will be going on here between the pitchers and the hitters in this championship game. 3-0 the count. Looks at that pitch for a strike. It's 3-1. Just underway here in the South Jersey Group 4 Championship. Cherokee and Cherry Hill East from Eastern High School.
As we said, and I saw the game the other day, it looked like Murray had a little bit of trouble because he started the game at third base, so he didn't get to warm up a whole lot. And Lenape touched him for 5 runs in the first 2 innings, and then he shut him out the rest of the way.
Jedlicka takes that second pitch for a strike, so now it's a full count, 3-2.
And I think Jedlicka was looking all the way that time. East wants to get base runners on base for Rodio and Smith coming up behind him, and Daly. Daly, of course, has been an outstanding RBI producer for this team.
Pickoff play over to second base. It's a low throw, and it goes into center field. Lilo able to run it down and keep the runner from advancing. So Scanzano stepped in, then Manning stepped in. They tried the pickoff.
Well, and they're lucky, too, that Ho-Wan Lee can play kind of a shallow center field, Ed, because he has such great wheels. He can get the balls. Now he's going back a little bit deeper here, but he was in a little bit closer. He can track down balls with the best of them.
So still a full count to Jedlicka. Fastball too high, ball 4, so that puts runners at first and second for the Cougars with 1 out. And now the batter will be Doug Rodio. This is the man Cherry Hill East wants up in this situation. Rodio coming in with an average of .451 on the season. He has had a monster year. Has 6 home runs to lead the team. And one of the most impressive stats, he's only struck out 3 times this year.
The other thing is, Ed, when you're looking at all those numbers he's put up, remember, he missed 4 games with the hairline fracture. You see, again, and we've talked about it on previous telecasts, he's wearing that little guard on his left leg. He says he's 100%, but he's such a gamer. I'm not sure he's 100%. But it takes a lot to get him out of the lineup.
Breaking ball, and it gets away from DeLonzo, and the runners will hold. So the runners remain at first and second. I'll tell you what, I think Cherry Hill East is happy to. If this is Doug Rodio at less than 100%, they'll take him any season they can get him.
Good job by DeLonzo that time. DeLonzo's just a freshman back there. I really like the way he works with the pitchers. And Bill Hassler was telling me before the game that DeLonzo's calling about 50% of the pitches at this point. So he's gotten some great experience this year.
Out time is called. Cherokee coaching staff felt that Murray was already in his delivery mode when Rodio called timeout, so they have a few words to say to our umpires.
Harry Chambers behind the plate, Bill Getzinger and Tony Escudero on the bases.
That one missing low for a ball.
You know, eventually now, runners at first and second. Murray's got to come at Rodio with his best stuff and challenge him here like that. I understand that the New York Mets have shown a lot of interest in Rodio. I don't know if they're going to draft him or not, but of all the teams, they've apparently shown the most interest in him. Of course, the draft coming up beginning on Tuesday.
Now Murray steps off with a count 2-0 to Rodio. Runners at first and second for Cherry Hill East. 1 out, top of the first inning. No score in the Group 4 final. Ripped over to the right side, and that goes in for a base hit. Over to cut it off is Pegram. Rounding third is Braut. He's headed for the plate. The throw is cut off. Over to third goes Jedlicka. First and third for Cherry Hill East, and they take the lead at 1-0.
And we talked about it, 2-0. You had to come at him with your best pitch. Murray threw him an outstanding fastball, and Rodio got all of it. Manning just didn't have enough time to get over that time to get to the ball. It shows you how, with what force Rodio hit it with. 18 RBIs now for Rodio on the season. There it is again. Pretty good job by Pingram on the throw there from right field.
Good heads-up base running as the runner goes from first to third, was moving the entire way. Runners at the corners now for Kyle Smith, the pitcher standing in. And he pokes one into shallow right field, and that'll drop in for a base hit. The second run of the game for Cherry Hill East scores, and now the throw gets away. Over to get it is Tim Bilo. First and second for the Cougars, who now lead it 2-0.
Well, again, unlike Rodio, who hit a rope, that time Kyle Smith did not get all of it, but just enough to get out there. And Kyle Smith, as we've talked about, Ed, has been one of the most pleasant surprises last year. A guy that has hit 6 home runs this year.
We'll get a courtesy runner now over at first base for Kyle Smith. So runners at first and second, and there you see Nick Daly getting set to stand in. That's Justin Kaplan over to run at first base. So Daly standing in, the left-handed hitter batting at .328 on the season.
Now, I think over the second half of the season, he's been one of their hottest hitters, especially with runners in scoring position, Ed. You see that he leads the team with 29 RBIs. He's gotten a lot of big hits.
And he takes the first pitch low for a ball. Murray, uncharacteristically, is falling behind some hitters here early on this inning. And now time is called, and stepping out is Daly.
Murray does take a long time to get it to the plate. And these East batters, I've seen them do this a lot. They'll call time a lot. It's another thing that'll rattle a pitcher, although it shouldn't, a veteran like Murray.
Pitch over for a called strike. It's 1-1. 2 runs across for Cherry Hill East here in the top of the first. They lead 2-0. Breaking ball, and that skied foul out of play.
Hey, that was a nasty pitch that time. That was his best breaking ball to this point. Had some great movement, and Daly just doing a good job getting a piece of the ball. We talked about how many runs Daly saves his team defensively, Ed. He stretches at first base as well as any first baseman, and has saved a lot of runs that way too. Just a valuable player. He's a guy that's been a 4-year varsity guy. He used to play, even though he's left-handed, some third base for this program a couple years back.
Breaking ball missing up high. It's 2-2. And when Murray's on with his pitches, when he gets that breaking ball working with his fastball, he is as tough as anybody in South Jersey.
When this team was preparing for J.M. Gold of Toms River North, Cherry Hill East, they put the batting cage up to 90 miles an hour, the pitching machine.
Pickoff play back over to second base, and a nice catch by the second baseman Manning, and diving back in safely is Rodio.
See, Rodio didn't even have a big lead off second base as you see him there. I think Murray just has to worry about the hitters and start challenging them.
Breaking ball missing up high. It's a full count now to Daly. Arnold Zappasodi, the DH, waiting on deck.
Here's Dave Martin, a guy that's won 412 games in his career here at Cherry Hill East.
Fastball just misses, ball 4, and the bases are loaded with Cougars with just 1 out. So Cherry Hill East in a great position to break this one open early, although again with Cherokee you just never know, but a great opportunity here for Cherry Hill East.
Yeah, the other thing is both walks have come on 3-2 pitches. So Murray has thrown quite a few pitches here in the first inning.
Arnold Zappasodi standing in. He's batting at .438 on the season.
And you know, he's only had 16 at-bats, but he's a guy that's really come on lately. We saw him when we televised Cherry Hill East and Lenape. He got a big pinch hit for this team, as Bill Hassler's going to come out and talk to him. Had a home run the other day against Highland, and he's one of those guys that he's been up with the varsity all season, and he just waited his turn, and he started hitting so well that they had to play him somewhere. Dave Martin said he just took advantage of his opportunity.
It's a good decision here, I think, by Bill Hassler to come out and try and settle Murray down, and maybe checking with some pitch selection as well with Delonzo. And also a case right here where Murray's, you mentioned already, Mark, 3-2. He's walked a couple batters. He's maybe been nibbling a little bit too much. He did challenge Rodio with the fastball and got burned with a base hit. So maybe Coach Hassler now with the lower part of the order wants him to go after the hitters.
Well,
more.
Keep in mind, Rodio could burn anybody that challenges him. So no disgrace in that.
1 ball and no strikes to count to Zappasodi. Bases loaded with Cougars.
And Rodio just got his 100th hit, so he's tortured a lot of pitchers. I just love the way Zappasodi swings the bat, Ed. Just a junior, I think he's going to be a big part of this program. Not only the rest of this season, but next year as well. For the rest of this season, Cherry Hill East has a makeup game against Bishop Eustis next week.
That's about as good.
To still play it.
That's about as good as a non-league game you can get this late in the season. Bishop Eustis, of course, still involved in the parochial playoffs.
Tough game today with CBA.
That's over for a call strike. You can ask the folks at Gloucester Catholic. Amazing, the Rams with their domination in South Jersey and their impressive stats. And after winning the Diamond Classic again, 4 out of 5 years they've won the Diamond, and just one of those years they've won the sectional title. Fastball just missing a bit outside. It's 2-1.
J.M. Gold, I saw, got Zappasodi with a couple of nasty pitches there, but that's going to help you as a hitter facing a guy who's arguably the premier pitcher in the country.
Zappasodi takes one high, 3-1 the count, and nowhere to put him with the sacks jammed.
I'm wondering if they're going to give him the take sign. Murray hasn't been around the strike zone. I'm wondering if they're saying, all right, let's make Murray throw 2 strikes in a row here. We'll see if they give him the green light.
They do, and it's ripped right to first base from McGee over to first. Go for a play to retire the side. So Cherokee gets a big break to get out of more trouble here in the first. Cherry Hill East does play 2 runs in the inning on 2 hits. There was 1 Cherokee error and 2 runners officially left on base. We move to the bottom of the first. It's Cherry Hill East 2, Cherokee nothing. And Mark, that was a huge, huge play for the Chiefs.
There's no doubt about it. Great athletic play by McGee that time. Maybe they should have given him the take sign, Ed.
Hindsight is 20/20. It's a beautiful thing. But also, too, he got good aluminum on the ball. Just put it to the right side, but put it to the wrong spot. So Cherokee, boy, that's a moral boost for the Chiefs right there. Down 2-0, 1 out, bases loaded, and Murray a little bit wild now. So a chance for maybe the Chiefs to settle down. And Mark, you brought up a great point just a moment ago. When you have to face a pitcher like J.M. Gold, as strong a pitcher as Murray is, you're obviously much better prepared.
Well, there's no doubt about it. And McGee is a very, very good athlete, moves well around the bag, and he just got the line drive and showed his great instincts that time.
See McGee do that during football season, dive into the pile, trying to get the first down a few times, but Cherokee escapes further trouble, and now the Chiefs will see what they can do with their hitting order right now. Again, Cherokee coming in the number 5 seed in this Group 4 tournament, Cherry Hill East number 3. And again, apparently they have a coin flip to decide who is the home team. This Eastern High School, the site of many Group 4 championship games in the past. Of course, the site of what is now Joe Hartman Field. As Mark, of course, the great Joe Hartman, who does an outstanding job of the Diamond Classic tournament, honored for his outstanding work.
Ed, the one other thing about Cherokee, all 3 playoff games, none of them have been won by more than 3 runs, so they've been close. They beat Shawnee 9-7, Washington Township 5-4, and Lenape 13-10 when they had to come back, as we said, to get 6 runs in the 6th inning to go up that. So this is a team that knows how to win the close games.
This team was, as we mentioned, trailing against Shawnee and Lenape. In the Washington Township game, they jumped out to a quick 5-1 lead, but there was a misplayed ball in the outfield, and suddenly it was 5-4. Washington Township had the bases loaded, and their big slugger, Rob Egan, put one to the fence in right field. It was actually 5-3. That played to the runner a sac fly, but boy, Washington Township inches away from knocking Cherokee out. It is a game of inches, as we've just seen. Ho-Wan Lee to lead it off for Cherokee. He's batting at .337 on the season.
Well, just like we saw with Casey Fay at Gloucester Catholic, a great leadoff hitter, so is Ho-Wan Lee. And you've got to do your best to come in and pitch to him because you don't want him on the base, Eddie. He can just really flat out motor. He's had 51 career stolen bases, and he's only been caught 4 times.
And he takes the first pitch for a ball, has 10 extra base hits this year, 9 doubles and a triple. Swing and a miss for a strike. It's 1-1.
You know what's amazing about him? Never played organized baseball till the 8th grade. Lived in Seoul, South Korea, came over to this country in 8th grade, started playing a little bit. Didn't even start as a freshman on the freshman team, and now he's one of the best outfielders in South Jersey.
That misses low for a ball. Lee with a bit of a strange fashion statement there. He's got the white shoe on the right side and the dark shoe on the left side.
He's got that foot taped up. I think he nicked it a little bit.
Takes that one high for a ball. 3-1 the count. And there it is. We got the wrap there around the right foot, so that's what it is. Looked like 2 different shoes there for a second, but now he's got a 3-1 count. We'll see if he takes here.
He's walked 9 times, but he isn't real selective. You see there, he swung at a pitch that might have been ball 4.
Looked like he got an off-speed pitch when he was looking for the fastball. We think maybe with 3-1 that they'd let him hold just to see if they can get a base runner against Smith, but now Lee standing in with a full count.
Lee's going to St. John's, and the St. John's people are very happy because they think he has such a high ceiling, Eddie. He's only been playing organized baseball a little more than 4 years.
Ground ball foul down the third base side. Of course, if Lee gets on, he will be a threat to steal. He has stolen 21 bases, only been caught twice this year.
The other thing, he's not very big at 5'8", but he was a starter in that football secondary, and sometimes they moved him up the linebacker. And he didn't back down from people.
And speed has that effect. You find your way into the lineup if you've got some talent to go with your speed. That's foul tipped in and out of the glove of Jedlicka. Jedlicka takes that one off the shin. He's going to St. Joe's, is Jedlicka, after he's done his season here with the Cougars.
Jedlicka has really worked well with this pitching staff. There have been 5 seniors that have been playing varsity for at least 3 years on this team, and you could tell that veteran leadership on this East squad.
Fastball struck him out. Good pitch by Kyle Smith as he went with the fastball, and that is the first out of the first. Better now be Derek McGee. He stands in with an average of .370 on the season, coming off that great inning double play in the top of the first. He has 16 RBIs, 24 hits on the year, all of them singles. Bottom of the first inning, 2-0, Cherry Hill East on top.
That's an amazing stat. Your first baseman does not have any extra base hits.
There's that breaking ball over for a strike. Well, both of these pitchers, when they get the breaking ball over like that, it's not like they don't have a good fastball, but it looks that much faster.
Well, the other thing is Smith has a great split finger, too, and that thing really tails off on the batters.
Ripped up the middle, and that goes over to shortstop Kolodzey. Bobbles, now the throw over to first base in time for out number 2. Good recovery by Kolodzey for the second out.
The great part about that from Kolodzey's standpoint is he just didn't panic, Ed. He bobbled it. He had enough confidence in his arm to know that he could get it. He has a gun there at shortstop. And McGee, as you know, gets down the line pretty well.
Take a look at that again.
Watch this now. Sometimes people will just panic. He kept the ball in front and picked it up so quickly. That was the key. And you see how well McGee gets down the line. He doesn't run like a first baseman, believe me.
Chris Murray takes the first pitch low for a ball. He's batting at .415 on the season. Has walked 15 times. That leads the club. Has 3 home runs and 8 doubles. Fastball over for a strike. Murray had a big 3-run home run in that quarterfinal game at Washington Township. Helped get them off to that 4-0 lead in the top of the first. Breaking ball served over to third base. Gloved nicely by Rodio. Will make the play over to first, and that is out number 3. Cherokee goes down in order here in the first. No runs, hits, or errors, and none left. 1 inning complete here at Joe Hartman Field in Eastern High School. After 1 inning of play, it's Cherry Hill East 2, Cherokee nothing. Stay with us on Garden State Cable TV. Ed Benkin and Mark Narducci back here at Eastern High School. Cherry Hill East and Cherokee doing battle in the Group 4 final. Fans have some lawn side seats here as the Cougars lead the Chiefs by a count of 2-0 as we get a look at head coach Bill Hassler of Cherokee. And boy, his club, Mark, very fortunate that they're not down by more than 2 runs at this point.
Well, you're right. McGee getting that double play, lining, and then having the instincts to tag first base. And it's sort of been a charmed life that Cherokee has been leading through this postseason, Ed.
And they have been the cardiac kids of the South Jersey tournaments, no question about that. And a lot of people knew this team had the potential to make a run. And once they got it going in the season, they really started believing in themselves. And now here they are in the final. But Cherry Hill East with a quick start, leading by a score of 2-0.
But by the way, I don't think they're going anywhere next year either. And Murray will be back. Scanzano, we'll talk about him when he comes up, one of the top infielders around in the sophomore class. They have a lot of people back. I think they're going to be a viable contender next season as well.
Cherokee.
Joe Kolodzey will step in now, the shortstop for the Cougars, batting at .434 on the year. Not a bad average for a number 8 hitter. On the year, he has 2 home runs, 2 triples, and 5 doubles. First pitch is over for a called strike. It's 0-1.
Ed, we said it last game, and he had the winning 2-run hit against Lenape that game. He has just been on a tear the last month. And he told us since they got back from that South Carolina trip, he says the baseball almost looks like a basketball up there. They had expected him to come in. You know, his brother Chris was the shortstop here last year. They expected him to come in, make the plays on defense, and whatever they got out of him offensively, they were going to be happy with. He's certainly given them a lot more than they envisioned.
Count now is 2-1 to Kolodzey as he takes 2 straight balls out of the strike zone from Murray. Swing and a miss for a strike, and you could hear the Cherokee coaching staff saying, keep it down, keep it down. Does not want to put a pitch up against this Cougar lineup.
Well, Murray has been up with his breaking pitches. There's no doubt about it. He's had pretty good control. He hasn't had a lot of high fastballs. And then, as I said that, he throws one there.
Well, tried to mix it up right there, and he does have a good fastball, so it's fouled off, and it's 2-2. 2-0 Cherry Hill East. We're in the second. Swing and a miss, struck him out with a low pitch out of the strike zone. That is the first strikeout of the day for Chris Murray.
You know, Murray reminds me a little bit of Mark Sauer, Bishop Eustace, in the fact that, Ed, sometimes Sauer takes an inning or two to get ready and warmed up as well. Murray, as we mentioned, not always a quick starter, but if he's around by the end of the game, he's tough to beat.
Chris Canosa standing here with an average of .550. And he takes the first pitch for a ball.
And here's another guy. He's batting in the 9-hole. He's got 16 RBIs. That's what I said. Kolodzey and Chris Canosa have just given this team so much punch low in the order.
Had to make sure I looked at Canosa's at-bats. He has 40 on the year, so he's gotten plenty of time at the plate. And there's a chopper high into the hole. That'll be in for a base hit to left field. August over to get it for the Chiefs. And Canosa is a one-out base runner here in the second.
And again, he's stolen 6 bases in 7 attempts, so you have to watch him. You think eventually Cherry Hill East wants to test the freshman catcher behind the plate.
So John Braut steps back in. He reached base on an error and scored a run his first time up. Let's see it again.
That was a tough pitch that he hit too, Ed. A low fastball in there, and he kind of golfed it there.
Takes that pitch low for a ball. Murray already only the second inning has thrown more pitches than he normally would at this point. Has run a lot of deep counts so far.
And with 1 out, I don't think you'll see Braut bunting here, but Canosa getting a decent lead off first base.
High fastball, and that's skied high into the air in left field. That is going back, and it's gone. No, it's not. Let's see. Now they're holding up the runners. It is gone. Home run. We lost sight of it, but a 2-run shot. And Cherry Hill East makes it a 4-0 lead.
Well, as I said, I didn't think he'd be bunting. Ed, he just hammered a high fastball, which I don't think was close to the strike zone that time. We said Murray he'd been keeping his fastball pretty low, but that time he just hammered that pitch way out of there. We talk about people swinging balls out of the strike zone. There's an example. Watch how high. Look at that. That's high up there. Actually, it got it inside. That was a tough pitch to hit.
Hey, you had a great look at it at home. We're on the third base side, but you got a great look at it right there as it goes over the fence. This is not an easy park to put one out either. But Braut connects with a 2-run home run, and it's 4-0 in favor of the Cougars. Greg Rubin, the next batter, he sacrificed his first time up.
Just tomahawked that one, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Rubin swings and misses for a strike. Got the high fastball. Mark, you were just talking about it before. We were about how the Cherokee coaching staff wanted to see the ball stay down. So East doubles their lead. There's a breaking ball, and that's a beauty for a strike. 0-2 the count. Bounces up there for a ball. It's 1-2. Well, that ball went out so fast too, Mark. Again, everyone at home got a good look at it. Everyone was looking up, and it cleared the fence by plenty of room.
Ed, just not that the people care, but any ball hit the left field will be an adventure for either of us to see.
That fastball goes up high, 2-2. So again, you folks at home have the best vantage point there is. Fastball, and that's poked into right center field for a base hit as Manning can't come up with it. Owan Lee able to cut it off, and it's a single for Greg Rubin with 1 out. And we will keep an eye on Rubin on the base path. He has 6 stolen bases in 6 attempts this season. Again, only 1 out of the inning. What do you might think about taking off?
Hey, keep in mind, Murray has a very good fastball. This isn't the best we've seen, but this is a 4th straight game that he's pitching in. I mean, it has to take some wear and tear.
And again, he has the 6 innings. When people talk about that, people are anxious to see the Racers pitch in the semis and the finals. But you're right, Mark. It does take its toll.
I mean, he's won all 3 of their playoff games.
Jedlicka rips one high into the air in right field, going way back, way back, and that is off the fence. Creekrum over to get it as Rubin will head for third. He will hold at third, and rolling into second with a double is Jedlicka. Looked like another pitch up in the strike zone.
Well, they're certainly timing his fastball. There's no question about that. There you said, Ed, little away, and he went the other way. That's a great piece of hitting by Ralph Jedlicka that time.
And Derek Liu will be the courtesy runner over at second base. And who's up next? Only Doug Rodio. What's he done today? He has singled his first time up with an RBI. So Cougars with second and third, 1 out, leading 4-0. Takes the first pitch for a ball. And we remember last time Rodio took one of Murray's best fastballs and just went the other way with it.
Ed, remember, if first base is open, normally you'd say, well, you would pitch very carefully to Rodio, but Murray's got to get outs. So you almost have to come after him here.
Fastball, he does come after him. It's a miss. Count now 1-1. And also you have Kyle Smith waiting on deck, so it doesn't get any easier. Smith already with a single today as well. There's a breaking ball, and Rodio lays off it. It's 2-1.
Nice job by Delonzo, too. That was a tough pitch to get. He got his body in front of it, moved his feet very well back there. Great job by the freshman catcher.
And there's plenty of room behind home plate in the backstop here at Eastern High School.
Yeah, there's no question. It's probably the most space that you'll see in South Jersey.
2-1 pitch is hit over to shortstop. Gloved nicely by Scanzano. Will have one play to first for the out. Coming in to score is Rubin. Moving up to third base is Liu. And the Cougars now lead at 5-0. So give Rodio an RBI ground out right there, his second ribby of the day. And the Cougars out to that 5-0 lead, as you see. Let's take a look at that again.
Another high fastball. Watch where you see it is. And Rodio that time trying to pull it instead of going the other way. And Scanzano making the smart play. You're seeing Rodio still not running at 100%. Wants to get the shore out.
Kyle Smith takes the first pitch. It's low, and here comes Liu for the plate. He scores, and it's 6-0 Cougars.
At that time, Delonzo tried to catch that pitch instead of getting his body over there to block it. He tried to one-hand it, couldn't get there.
Tough pitch to handle, so it's now 6-0 in favor of East and 1-0 to Smith. Fastball chopped over to shortstop again. Tough hop for Scanzano. Fights it off and throws to first to retire the side. Fine play by Scanzano to end the inning. However, the Cougars played 4 runs. They do so on 4 hits. The big blow, the home run by Braut. No Cherokee errors and nobody left on base. Bottom of the second we go, and Cherry Hill East off to a 6-0 lead. Well, Mark, these two teams, again, just starting to play each other more so because they're in the same conference, although they're not in the same division. And it's kind of odd when you think about it because really these are border schools, Marlton and Cherry Hill, with the east side of Cherry Hill right on the border. In fact, some people living in Marlton who go to Cherokee are actually closer to Cherry Hill East. So it's nice to see these two schools getting a lot more opportunities to play each other.
Well, the other thing is we're gonna test Cherokee's perseverance now because this is the 3rd playoff game down by 6.
Well, you could say Cherokee has them right where they want them if you consider the comebacks by the Chiefs, in case you're just joining us. A 7-1 deficit against Shawnee, they rallied to win. A 10-4 deficit against Lenape, they rallied to win. A 8-2 Diamond Classic deficit in the last inning with Washington Township, they rallied to win them. But I'm sure that's something that the Cherry Hill East coaching staff has made aware to their team. We'll see what the Chiefs can do here now as Dave August is getting set to bat here to start the inning.
And I got to say something about Dave August. There was a guy that was really struggling offensively, and Bill Hassler was even thinking of, giving him a few days off and sitting him down. And all of a sudden, you talked about his grand slam that he hit against Washington Township in a Diamond Classic. He has hit a home run in 4 out of his last 5 games. And all of a sudden, Dave August is that feared cleanup hitter that everybody thought he would be now.
And ironically, in that game where he hit the grand slam, he was 0 for 4 when he came up to the plate. Boy, picked the right time to break out of his slump.
Again, the other day against Lenape, he had a 2-run homer, scored a couple of runs.
And he leads the team with 6 home runs. He stands in with an average of 288. Also has 2 doubles on the year, as the Cherokee fans start to make some noise, try and get their team back in the ball game. First pitch is over for a called strike.
Hey, that 6 homers is a school single-season record, because as you know from playing that field at Cherokee, it is not easy to put one out there.
In fact, it was a while before they even had the fences up. Breaking ball bounces for a ball. It's 1-1.
That was a good look at the split finger that time as Jedlicka chases things down. And when Smith has that working, Ed, he'll get batters to chase balls way out of the strike zone because of the tremendous movement on the split finger.
That one chopped over to third base. So it's another tough hop, and it goes to shortstop Kolodzey. Long throw. He won't make it. Boy, that's a tough one to score. August beats it out. That one took a funny hop on Rodio.
I'd have to give it E5, though. Rodio that time, instead of charging it, moved back on it, and that proved to be the wrong decision that time, because the ball, as you said, just jumped on him. He's made plays like that, though.
Yeah, that's one he'll tell you he should have had. It's officially a hard luck error, so the first error of the game against Cherry Hill East. There's Mike Scanzano stepping in now for the Chiefs. Scanzano batting at .409.
I think Scans is one of the best sophomores that we'll see in South Jersey.
He takes one high for a ball. He's already been impressive today in the field.
And he's another one, Ed, who the second half of the season, he's really taking it up a notch. You know, he didn't gain the regular job till late last year as a freshman. They haven't been able to get him out ever since. He's played well.
Now time is called. Scanzano calls time before the delivery.
He's so athletic, which is why they have him at shortstop. We've seen him on the football field just make some great acrobatic catches.
That's a high fastball missing 2-0.
And Scanzano, we mentioned something about this on the Bishop Eustace game, played on that great Babe Ruth team, the Marlton Reds, and his second base partner was a kid by the name of Nick Italiano, guy that just set the South Jersey single-season record at Bishop Eustace for runs scored in a year. That's a pretty good double play combination. No wonder they went to the National Babe Ruth Tournament.
And that's strength up the middle defensively, no question about that.
A lot of these Cherokee players were on that team. Mary, pitcher.
2-0, now the count to Scanzano.
I see Scans even next year, moving up in the lineup as far as maybe in a number 2 hole or even in a leadoff spot, with Ho-Wan Lee graduating.
That misses up high for a ball, 3-0. Well, Scanzano has decent speed. He's got 9 stolen bases, so he would be the ideal leadoff hitter next year. Probably looking at one here, though, 3-0.
It's pretty good pop, though. Has 25 RBI, so he's gotten a lot of big hits.
Ball 4, and the last 3 pitches by Kyle Smith weren't even close. So first and second for Cherokee, and Marcus Pegram will come to the plate. There you go, look at Scanzano at first. So Pegram was set to bat next. He's batting at .292. 1 triple, 4 doubles on the season to go along with his 19 hits. Also has 19 runs scored. Fastball, and that's over for a called strike. It's 0-1.
In the 13-10 win against Lenape, Pegram was on base 4 times. He walked 3. Very selective at the plate.
Breaking ball, and it's chopped over to third. Off the glove of Rodio. This will be trouble, and August is going to come around and head for the plate. Bobbled in left field by Rubin. August scores. Everybody else moves up, and Cherokee's on the board. It's 6-1. Second error of the inning for Rodio.
And the same thing happened. The same thing happened, Ed. He backed up on it. Again, the ball kind of handcuffed him. See him going back instead of charging it. Now we're told that first one was a hit, Ed.
That's the official scores. We'll give him a hit. So
okay.
So give August a base hit, which means Cherokee does have one hit, and Cherry Hill East now has one error on the day. Could be scored either way. Now here's the DH, Chris Spina, standing in, and he takes the first pitch up high for a ball. Spina's batting at .339 on the year. Has 19 hits, one of them a double and the other a home run, 18 RBIs.
Had the game-winning two-run single against Lenape, broke a 10-10 tie in the South Jersey Group 4 semifinal.
Fastball, that's ripped foul right towards the direction of one of our faithful cameraman up top. Appears to be okay. Steady as a rock up there. I'd be into the bushes. There he is. He's fine. That's why I like being in front of this fence, Mark. I feel a little more safe.
We still duck every time a ball comes, Ed.
At least if there's a one popped up, I have time to duck under the table. 0-2 now, the count to Spina. Way high for a ball, and a nice job by Jedlicka to snare that one. So 1-2 now to Spina. Scanzano at second, Pegram at first. Nobody out here in the bottom of the second. A run across for Cherokee, trailing 6-1. Breaking ball struck him out. Good pitch by Kyle Smith. That is strikeout number 2 for Smith.
And you saw Spina tried to hold up. He was so out in front of it, he tried to hold up. Great change of speed that time by Kyle Smith.
One out now, and Tim Bilo steps in for the Chiefs. Bilo batting at 182. Now the look over to second base, but Scanzano not taking a huge lead over there. There you see him at second. And it is a warm day here at Eastern. Temperature right now, officially by our Garden State temperature gauge, at 87 degrees. Pitch missing for a ball. It's 1-0. There you see Scanzano is still actually holding the bag. He's not taking a big lead. Swing and a miss on the low fastball. It's 1-1.
See, that was a split finger Ed. It just darted down there that time. He was having the Toms River North batters when I saw them just chasing that pitch all day.
1-1 now the count to Bilo. Breaking ball. Did he go? He did. Strike 2. 1-2.
Smith has an outstanding changeup, and again, the way he can change speeds. He's a guy that is topped at about 85 miles an hour on the radar guns with his fastball. So that's certainly a better than average high school fastball that you'll see out of him.
There it is, and he did not lay off it, and that is the second straight strikeout for Smith. So Smith, facing first and second with nobody out, now has first and second with 2 out. So it'll be up to Kevin Manning. We talked about how well the bottom of the order hits for Cherry Hill East. Manning, the number 9 hitter, is batting at .405 on the season. Has only played in 16 games, but has 14 hits and 37 at-bats.
Whole key against Smith is having discipline and not chasing those balls low and away out of the strike zone.
That one ripped over to second base, and Braut makes a fine play to end the inning. Manning ripped it, but Braut was there for the out. So that does it for Cherokee here in the second. However, they do plate their first run of the game. They do so on just 1 hit. There was 1 Cherry Hill East error and 2 runners left on base. Top of the third we go. The Cherry Hill East Cougars on top by a score of 6-1. Stay with us. The bleacher bum view out there as the score is 6-1 in favor of Cherry Hill East as we get set to start the top of the third inning. A wild start. Chiefs have to find a way to stop the bleeding. The Cougars getting 2 in the first and 4 in the second. Cherokee entering with a run in the bottom of the second inning. Well, we're set to go here for the top of the third inning, and as I swing it over to the top of the third, here is our man Mark Narducci to take over the play-by-play duty.
All right, Ed, thank you very much. It'll be Nick Daly, Arnie Zappasodi, and Joe Kolodzey here for Cherry Hill East. The Cougars leading 6-1 here in the top of the third inning of the South Jersey Group 4 final. Daly takes that pitch in the dirt for a ball. He walked his first time up, batting .328, 5 homers, 29 RBIs. Headed to Loyola of Baltimore, where he will be playing soccer, one of the premier goalies in all of South Jersey over the last few years. Pop up. Bilo calling for it. And he makes the play for the first out. And Ed, no pop-up is going to be easy with the way the sun is here today.
No, it's a hazy sunshine day, so the sun's going to be a problem wherever you are. Sometimes you have a clear enough day, the sun's out in one direction, you can pretty much fight it off. But it's a bright day all around up in the sky because of the hazy sunshine, so it will be an adventure.
And now there's coming up big number 61, Arnie Zappasodi. Hitting to a double play his first time up as he swings and misses. Lined a ball to McGee, and McGee made an outstanding diving play to tag the bag for the double play. Zappasodi 7 for 17 on the year, now hitting .411. Doesn't offer that off-speed pitch, or nope, they say he doesn't. Tony Escudero at first base, saying he did not go around. So the count's 1-1 now to the junior designated hitter. Zappasodi coming off a monster game in a 12-3 win over Highland as he takes that low for a ball. He was 3 for 4, 4 RBIs and a home run, and that was a game Ed had alluded to Cherry Hill East clinching the conference. That was a game where the Cougars clinched the American Division title in their last outing. That's low, 3-1.
And because of all the rainouts, the title was still up for grabs. Washington Township had so many games to make up. They were in second place. They still have 2 more games to play, and they had 3 going into that game, which the Cougars clinched.
Of course, Eastern had a stranglehold on that with 4 straight. That is lined in for a base hit. Zappasodi just hits shots. So he's a 1-out base runner here for Cherry Hill East in the top of the third inning. The Cougars looking to expand on that 6-1 lead over Cherokee.
I'll tell you, he is fun to watch, Mark, when he swings, because, like you said, when he gets around on almost everything he hits is hit hard.
So that'll bring up Joe Kolodzey. Joe struck out his first time up. Now hitting .426. That's low for ball 1. Kolodzey saw some action last year on the varsity, but as we said, really has come into his own this season. And next year obviously looks to be the leader of that infield. And showing bunt here, I don't think he's going to bunt, and he doesn't. As that's foul, 1-1. I mean, you have Zappasodi at first, Ed. Not exactly Carl Lewis out there. And you already have 1 out.
Well, we saw him pull back and try and get the chopper. We have seen a lot of high hops so far today, Mark, so that might be another reason why he pulled back and maybe tried to do the swinging bunt, because with all the high hops we're seeing, we've seen a lot of base hits, particularly on the left side of the infield.
Dave Martin just loves to stir things on the base pass. I think it would even be a reach for him to do it here. There's a ground ball. That's over Bilo on a bad hop. Just as Ed said, how many bad hops we've seen. We saw another one right there. So give Kolodzey a bad hop base hit. And now runners at first and second with 1 out.
Absolutely nothing Bilo could do on that. We saw it just hop right up ahead of him. And that must be the spot over there. That third base side, we've seen some strange plays. We've got Bilo and, of course, Rodio, 2 outstanding third basemen. And that's a case right there where every ball is going to be an adventure at third base.
And here comes a guy who's vying to be the number 1, number 9 hitter in South Jersey, and that's Chris Canosa, singled and scored a run his first time up. Now hitting .560. So Murray once again in trouble. And he gets him to offer at that one for strike one.
And Murray's been in trouble every inning. And again, he's thrown a lot of pitches so far. Keep in mind it's a very hot day, so we'll see how long he can go.
Well, because of the NJSIAA pitching rules, as we said at the top of the broadcast, Murray can only go as many as 6, and same with Kyle Smith. Takes that pitch for strike 2, so quickly Murray gets ahead 0-2, and he has not been ahead of too many batters today.
And partly because that pitch you just saw, the breaking ball, has not gone over the plate much of today. That was about his best breaking ball he's thrown all day.
Quickly, the pitching rules are you can pitch 10 innings over a 4-day period. If you pitch over 5, though, you need 3 full days rest. Murray pitched 4 on Tuesday, so he's able to go 6 here on Friday. Jams him that time, and Canosa fights off a tough pitch. Count remains 0-2. And I've often said that I don't think those pitching rules are that restrictive. I mean, you look at it, when you can pitch 20 innings in a 5-day period, you can pitch up to 20 innings. I mean, I don't think that's exactly very, very tough. Ground ball to Scanzano. Manning can't make the double play, and a close play, and another nice stretch that time by McGee.
That's a fine play by Scanzano. We talked about the high hops. Made sure he had the play to get the sure out first. Didn't rush himself on the play to maybe cause an error and leave the bases loaded. So he gets the sure out at second. And watch here. It's a low ball. The ball just dropped. A good job by Canosa just to grab it. And Scanzano gets the sure out, and a great takeout slide at second base by Kolodzey, and I think that was part of the reason why over at first base Canosa was able to beat it out.
John Braut to the plate. Braut hit a home run his last time up. That's low for ball 1. Braut officially 1 for 2, reached base on an error. He scored twice here today.
Now, 2-out situation. East has been able to come through with 2 outs this past inning. That's where they plated most of their runs. First inning they got a double play to end it.
Swings at another high fastball. Scanzano can't get it. And Zappasodi scores a 7th run on the RBI base hit by John Braut. And Braut is having an outstanding day.
He's been the man so far. Has the big home run with the tomahawk smash. And that time, not exactly a line drive here. Pitch was a bit high and he topped it. But he got the bounce his way. The definition of a seeing-eye single. And another big 2-out hit by the Cougars.
I think the book on Braut is you better not throw him a pitch way out of the strike zone because he'll hammer it.
Especially up high.
So runners at first and second, and that'll bring up Greg Rubin. Low for a ball is Delonzo getting to the ball in the dirt.
And Murray, again, has not been himself. He hasn't given up a lot of hits as much. He did give up the home run, but I think more so than that, his control is just not there today. It's resulted in not only some walks, but some deep counts and some 2-0, 3-1 situations.
The Cougars have touched him up, though, for 9 hits already. Rubin they call time.
The other thing, too, is Murray, when he's thrown his breaking ball, a lot of times he's got the runners to top it, but the way the infield has been today, a lot of those bouncing balls have turned out to be hits.
Chris Murray trying to get out without any further damage. Again, that ball low and away that time. Rubin ahead 2-0.
Here it is again, another 2-0 situation. And with this lineup that Cherry Hill East has, you cannot get yourself from 2-0, 3-1 counts.
Rubin with 11 bases on balls this season. And he hits one to center field. Ho-Wan Lee going back, and he makes the running catch for the 3rd out. But more damage for Cherry Hill East as the Cougars plate 1 run on 3 hits. As we get a look at this again, Ed.
And this is a great indication of Lee's speed. He's in a position where he gets a good jump on the ball and he makes it look routine. It's perfect positioning as well, too. Knew exactly where to play, and then again with his speed, just able to glide back and make the play. But Well, the Cougars have scored in every inning, Mark. And as you mentioned, they've done it via the hit. They've done it via walks, some sloppy play by Cherokee as well, and some bouncing balls in the infield as well. And that's how teams build leads like that. But again, Cherokee, as we mentioned before, they just do not die easily.
Well, one thing, Ed, you have to notice, Chris Murray came into today with 85 strikeouts. He has 1, so he hasn't had his A1 fastball to this point.
You know, Mark, you were talking before about the loose rules, you could say, as far as pitchers and innings. For the most part during the season, I think, especially when teams have 2-3 games, you have rainouts, and they have a lot of division games bunched up, managers don't have to worry about that as much, and coaches, because you're going to throw your ace one day, and if you throw 6 or 7 innings, you'll probably rest him till the following week. Playoff time's a different story. As we've seen with these two teams, when you're in the semifinals and you're playing for your lives and you need a second or third out, you need 1 out or 1 inning here just to get out of it. That's how your pitcher's innings and, more importantly, their arm wear adds up. And that's been the case, and we see it not only because of tournament time, but because of the Diamond Classic as well.
And keep in mind, just 1 pitch means 1 inning, the way they go with the rules.
You know, Cherokee had a chance, Mark, last inning. It's 7-1 now, but they had a run across, and they had first and second, nobody out. And Smith did a great job with the 2 strikeouts and then got a line out to end the inning. So Cherokee did have their opportunity in the second. We'll see what they can do here in the third with the top of the lineup.
Well, we'll be the top of the lineup. It'll be Ho-Wan Lee, Derek McGee, and Chris Murray here for the Chiefs, trailing 7-1 in the South Jersey Group 4 final against Cherry Hill East. Lee struck out his first time up. And that ball nowhere near the strike zone. Ho-Wan now batting .333. Hit .448 last year as a junior.
Mentioned Dave Martin, his assistant coach Kozaneski. I think he knows something about pitchers. He had a son, of course, Blaze, who played in the AA farm system of the Yankees.
And he takes that pitch for a strike count, 1-1. Although we won't mention Coach Steve Kozanuski's other son, Tad, as a premier pitcher, should we? Although he's still scuffling around in the over 30 leagues, I believe.
Yeah, he's in the way over 30 category, I think.
2-1 to count the Ho-Wan. Chiefs looking for base runners. Didn't get around it, just got a little piece of it. Counts 2-2.
Mentioned Blaze, of course, having an outstanding career at Highland High School and then moving on to the University of Georgia before playing professionally. Now working as a scout for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
Ho-Wan Lee, by the way, has scored 25 runs, so he's certainly doing his job as a leadoff batter. There's that split finger pitch, and Lee did a good job just staying alive, fouling it off.
The other thing that makes that pitch nasty is it's a kind of pitch you're just not going to see too often this year if you're these Cherokee batters. You don't see a lot of pitchers able to not only throw it, but throw it that effectively. So it's a change of pace when you have to finally swing against it.
Well, someone told me that the Pittsburgh Pirates have all of a sudden taken a real interest in Kyle Smith. Now, whether that means they'll draft him, I don't know. Counts now full, 3-2. Kyle, of course, has been offered a partial scholarship by Drexel. I know there's some other schools that are coming in on him now, Ed. He's attracting some late interest. George Mason, one of them. Of course, his teammate Doug Rodio is going down to George Mason. There's a shot to deep center field. Way back is Canosa. Way back. Home run for Ho-Wan Lee. Now they're holding him up there, Ed. A little confusion. Look at this. Well, Lee thinks it's a home run as he's crossing the plate there.
And that's what he should do right now, because while they continue to discuss whether
home run.
That's what you got to do, cross the plate and let the umpires make the call.
Well, let's try to look at it here, because he just crushed it to center field.
It just kept carrying. Now watch where this goes. Oh, that's out. It's just tough for the umpires, I think, to see, because Canosa, the center fielder, is running back, and he's right in the line of where the ball is landing, but that's a home run.
Didn't feel bad about being so unsure about that round tripper, because no one knew what was going on.
Thought they were going to pull the NFL preseason, come over to our monitor and check the replay to make the call.
First home run of the year by Ho-Wan Lee. You know what, Ed? That is not right, because he had a home run. I remember. He had that sheet's not right. He had a home run against Lenape the other day, so it's his second.
And even though it only makes it 7-2, that's a big lift for Cherokee. And again, they're still very much in this game as far as how they talk it up on the dugout. But again, Cherry Hill East gets another run back off of Cherokee's run, so then Cherokee retaliates. So big boost mentally for the Chiefs.
McGee ahead of the count, 2-0. Make it 3-0. Yeah, it's interesting. You know how I said it's tough to put balls out at Cherokee? The other day the wind was blowing out a little bit. There were 4 home runs, 2 by Lenape, 2 by Cherokee, and the Chiefs 13-10 win over Lenape.
I was always about 300 feet away from clearing it.
I didn't know you got that, that close.
Well, I did get that close. It just rolled on the ground. That was the only problem.
Ed is a former Cherokee Chief. He was not exactly the Sultan of SWAT when he was there. And takes that for strike 2. The count's now full.
I have to correct you on that, Mark. I played on that field in the Marlton Rec League. I mentioned how smart the Cherokee coaches are, excellent judges of talent. They are. They cut me twice, and that was a smart thing to do, believe me.
Did he offer?
No swing.
Well, then that's ball 4.
There is a delay, and because it's a left-handed hitter, the appeal went down originally to the first. The signal straight, and it was ball 4, and the correct call.
So with nobody out here in the 3rd inning, Derek McGee on first, as you see him over there, being held on by Nick Daly. 1 run already in for Cherokee. Chiefs still trail 7-2. Pickoff play, and McGee almost overran the bag that time.
That, and when he was coming back, he almost ran into Nick Daly. Daly's playing his position over at first base. He's trying to get back on the bag, and Daly's holding the bag. But a nice job by McGee just to get back on base.
You know, Ed, I joke about your hitting prowess. I wasn't exactly really starting.
I don't see you in the Paul the Sixth record books anywhere.
Line drive to deep left field. Oh, and keeping it in that time. And making the catch is Rubin, but Murray just got under it a little. That looked like it could have gone out.
And off the jump of the bat, it did look like it was going to go out. But as you mentioned, Mark, he just got under it just enough. Got some bullpen action right now for the Cougars.
Jordan Deckheiser warming up for Cherry Hill East. So 1 down and long out. McGee at first. And Dave August swings through that pitch. August 1 for 1 with a base hit and run scored.
And the Chiefs, again, down by this much, so they're confident they can get around on Smith.
August now hitting .297. That one fouled out of play, and quickly Smith gets ahead 0-2.
That looked like the splitter a little bit right there because it took some funny movement as it came in. It looked like it jammed August a little bit. This has been a wild start to this game so far, Mark. A big lead for Cherry Hill East, but you get the feeling this is not going to be the final score.
McGee with just 1 stolen base on the year. There's a line drive down 3rd. That's fair. McGee rounding 2nd. He'll come to 3rd. August going to 2nd, and now he's coming home. McGee scores the 3rd run and getting back in at 2nd, and he's out. Here's Dave August as he was caught off the bag there. But score the run on the RBI double by Dave August.
That's a base running mistake by Dave August. He got a good rip, got the double. Originally, with the ball hit into left field, it didn't look like they were going to send McGee. They did. And the Cougars figuring they probably aren't going to catch him. They made the smart play. They went into the relay, went into the cutoff, and they caught August leaning. Now, when you're rounding 2nd like August is, he's looking right now to see if the throw's coming home. If the throw's coming home, he's going to 3rd. So it took him a while for him to slam on the brakes coming around 2nd, and that's why I think it took him so long to get back in, and of course he was taken out.
So the 25th RBI on the season for August. It's now 7-3 Cherry Hill East. As Scanzano takes that first pitch for a strike. Scans walked his first time on 4 pitches. Batting .409. It's a good look at that center field view. Jammed him that time, fouled out of play. Count 0-2.
And how about August doing that double with an 0-2 pitch. He fell behind in the count there, and he really got around it and ripped it.
That's high, 1-2.
Smith has been, when he's been missing fastball high and breaking ball or split finger low for the most part this afternoon.
Kyle Smith looking to get out of this inning, and there's the split finger for the third out. But some damage this inning by the Cherokee Chiefs, as 2 runs that inning on 2 hits, and there were nobody left on base. There's your score through 3. Cherry Hill East 7, Cherokee 3 in the South Jersey Group 4 final. And there's a good look at Phil Delonzo, the freshman catcher here for Cherokee. Top of the 4th inning. There you see the score. Mark Narducci along with Ed Bankin. Glad to be bringing you this South Jersey Group 4 final between Cherry Hill East and Cherokee here on Garden State Cable. Playing this game at the neutral site of Eastern High School, and neither team is stranger to this field.
No, both have to take a couple visits, usually at least during the season. Cherry Hill East always does, being Eastern is a division foe, and Cherokee usually winds up playing Eastern at some point during the regular season. That's another border situation. Voorhees right along with Marlton, so it's always good to see Cherokee and Eastern do battle, as well as the Cougars and Eastern.
In fact, Ed, when Cherry Hill East played here earlier this year, Kyle Smith pitched, and Cherry Hill East beat Eastern 10-0. Smith on a 5-hitter. In a 5-inning game, halted by the mandatory 10-run rule.
It seemed like feast or famine with Eastern. Usually there was a blowout or be blown out with them. It seems like they were on the receiving end, giving end of a lot of lopsided scores.
There's a look at Ralph Jedlicka as he'll lead things off for Cherry Hill East. Fouls that one off for strike 1. It'll be Jedlicka, Rodio, and Smith, the heart of the Cherry Hill East order, as the Cougars leading Cherokee 7-3. And Ed, for people that don't know, every time you and I do a game, there seem to be a multitude of runs, wouldn't you say?
Oh, we're on pace, 10 runs through 3.
Last game Ed and I did together here on Garden State Cable, it was 21-2. As that ball just missed that time, 1-1. 21-2, the Eastern High School beat Shawnee.
This is a big inning right here for Murray. He has struggled throughout the day. He's not had his best stuff. East has scored every inning so far.
Jams him, fouls it out of play, so Murray ahead 1-2. Ed, how crazy is baseball? We talked about Eastern beating Shawnee 21-2. They played the other day. Shawnee beat Eastern 6-1 in the rematch.
You just never know, especially in that Olympic American division. Even teams that are maybe 500 teams, they always seem to play spoiler at some point.
Second year in a row, all 6 Olympic American teams qualify for the tournament, and he gets them on a cold third strike on an outstanding curveball.
Well, it's a close pitch. In fact, if that one might have been a little low, it might have been a makeup, because I think the pitch Murray threw on a curveball for a strike a couple of pitches ago could have been called, and it was called a ball. But things do have a way of evening out. That's get a good out for Murray to start the inning here. He got the first batter in the 3rd, but he did not get the first batter in the first 2 innings.
Only the 2nd strikeout for Murray, his 87th of the season. There's Doug Rodio. Doug was a leading vote-getter among Olympic Conference players for the All-Star team, and no surprise there as he takes that first pitch for a strike. You know, it was a little surprising that only one Cherry Hill East player made that All-Conference team. Talk about a tough conference. I mean, the conference champion and the Group 4 finalist here gets one player on the team. That's lined off Murray, and that'll be a base hit, as Rodio has hit 2 absolute shots here today. He's now 2 for 3.
Let's keep an eye on Murray now. Here he is retrieving the ball. At first it was tough to tell whether it hit the front of the pitcher's mound or it hit Murray. Let's see. Did get it off his foot, it looks like, and Bill Hassler now coming out to see if Murray is okay. The other pitcher Cherokee does have is Tim Bilo's been coming in relief, but Bilo's playing at third base, so if he's going to come in, he won't be warming up in the bullpen. Obviously.
Well, the other day, Bilo started the game. Murray started at third base. Bilo went the first 3 against Lenape, and then Murray closed out the last 4. They're going to give him a couple warm-up pitches here to see how it is.
Interesting with Murray, too. He's a tough guy. As you get a look at the feet right there. Didn't have much reaction when that ball hit him. Usually someone gets smacked in the foot, they're limping around, or they're showing some signs of pain. He just brushed it right off.
I could only imagine if that hit me. The tears would be
medic
right on the
Mark, I think we'd both be down for the count. Mark's forte, I think, was soccer, if I'm not mistaken. Your Paul the 6 days, correct?
That's what I tell you all the time.
works for me. I'll believe you.
So 1 down, a runner at first, Rodio. Cherry Hill East leading 7-3 here in the top of the 4th inning over Cherokee. Kyle Smith takes the first pitch for a strike. Smith 1 for 2.
As we mentioned, with East scoring in every inning, Cherokee with the run last inning and run the inning before, they just need to just sort of stop the bleeding here, keep East off the scoreboard. I think that'd be the big boost for Murray and the Chiefs.
Smith with an RBI single in the first inning, just missed that time, 1-1. The home plate umpire, Harry Chambers, has had a lot of tough calls to make behind the plate.
There he is. So you get the throw. Boy, it's extra tough for those umpires and the catchers back there on a day like this.
Yeah, especially at 86 degrees right now, and actually feels cool compared to the start of the game.
Yeah, a little bit of a breeze kicking in now, and there is a forecast of thunderstorms later in the day, but I don't think we're going to see it here.
Ground ball up the middle for a base hit, and Cherry Hill East will have runners at first and second with 1 out. So Smith gets his second hit of the day.
Very impressed with the way the Cougars have, really for the most part, when they get that breaking ball somewhere in the strike zone, they're very patient with it. They're waiting on. There it is again. That pitch was just dropping out. Nice swing on it by Smith. Just waited on it and chopped it into center field. You see a lot of these balls by the Cougars that they're called bleeding singles up the middle, sing-eye singles, whatever. But they're doing a nice job of waiting on that breaking ball as it drops down to get a piece of it.
That is the 11th hit for Cherry Hill East. And Ed, there is officially a nice crowd here today.
Not surprising. We've got 2 big schools, 2 premier programs, and a lot of neutral fans coming as well.
Nick Daly hits a high hopper, and that'll drop for a base hit, but Rodio has to hold up at third base, and now the bases are loaded with 1 out. Actually, Rodio is really having trouble running. He says the leg's 100%, Ed, but he is really having trouble running, just gutting it out there on the bases.
Well, you got Zappasodi up next, and again, with Rodio's diminished speed because of the injury, good decision there, I think, by Dave Martin to hold him. They've got a guy who certainly we know can make contact, so we'll see what happens here, but I think a wise decision to hold him at third.
Zappasodi is 1 for 2 with a base hit and a run scored here today. He takes that first pitch for a strike.
And Mark, every single person in this Cherry Hill East lineup, 1 through 9, has at least 1 hit today.
Well, again, it shows you the balance of this team. Ed, we said 1 all-star who was selected, although Dave Martin would beg to differ with that. That one's out of the strike zone, 1-1. But you have a lot of depth on this team. Same with the pitching staff. You haven't had any pitchers throwing a ton of innings this season. They've really spread it around. We talked about Deckheiser warming up. He's been a big part of it. Walsh, Chad Walsh, that's low, 2-1. Nowhere to put Zappasodi.
And he hit 2 balls real hard. The first one that was a line drive double play, but the second one was a rip down the left field line.
Low 3-1, and Murray is going to have to come into him now.
Well, if you're Zappasodi right now, you're licking your chops. You have to look fastball here. We know Murray doesn't have his best stuff so far today, so he's already gotten round on him once. He should get a great pitch to hit.
Zappasodi hitting .444. Oh, high fastball. Murray put a little bit of juice on that one. Count's now full.
And Murray walked Zappasodi here. I know he's got 6 innings to go, but the way he's been struggling and the fact that he doesn't have his best stuff, we might see a pitching change.
Zappasodi fouls off a good fastball right off the fist that time.
This is a fun matchup right now, Mark, for the fans. You got a pure slugger up there, someone who can rip the fastball, and you have Murray challenging him here 3-2 with the bases loaded.
Zappasodi doesn't look like a guy that's only had 18 at-bats this year, does he? Looks pretty confident up there. And he gets him on a third strike.
Big out for Murray, and that's a low pitch that has been called a strike all day by umpire Harry Chambers. And Murray able to get the strikeout there, and that is a huge, huge play. So you've had a strikeout, 3 singles, and a strikeout this inning so far for the Cougars.
Third strikeout of the game for Murray. And he can see his way out of this inning as Dave Martin now talking to Joe Kolodzey. This will be no easy out as Kolodzey 1 for 2 on the afternoon with a base hit.
And a hard takeout slide at second place, which saved a double play and resulted in another run for Cherry Hill East in the third.
Kolodzey now hitting .436. Just missed that time, 1-0.
Cherokee coaching staff really unhappy with that right there. Thought that one was a strike. And coaches try to contain themselves as far as arguing balls and strikes, but
they do. There's a line drive right to Scanzano. He'll make the play to Manning for the force, and Cherokee gets out of this unscathed. There's no runs for Cherry Hill East on 3 hits. There were no errors and 3 left on base. There's your scores. We go into the bottom of the 4th inning. Cherry Hill East 7, Cherokee 3.
Back to another point, Mark. A lot of times we see the grimaces. A lot of times you see the coaches maybe not yelling as much in balls and strikes. I think we see it in that case, though. But no matter, Cherokee, boy, that's a big boost right there for the Chiefs, Mark. They had bases loaded, 1 out, and they had to be saying to themselves, well, here they go again. Cherry Hill East in a position to score, and this is a team, the Cougars, that have had a lot of big 2-out base hits today. But we'll see if that inning is a huge inning with Cherokee getting out of trouble with the bases loaded.
By the way, a number of local teams from the Garden State area still involved in the state tournament. Audubon today playing Pennsville in the South Jersey Group 2 final. Pittman playing Maple Shade in the South Jersey Group 1 final. Of course, Bishop Eustis still alive in the South Jersey Parochial A playoffs, playing Christian Brothers in a semifinal today.
Well, I know Christian Brothers deserved their victory over Gloucester Catholic, and I know that Bishop Eustis isn't complaining, but it would have been great to see Bishop Eustis and Gloucester Catholic one more time. The Rams, of course, beat them in the Diamond Classic final, but Bishop Eustis had used their ace Mark Sauer in the semifinals against Buna earlier in the day, so I'm sure it would have been Sauer going against one of the top, or a bunch of top pitchers of Gloucester Catholics. Let's say thrown Sperone on Tuesday, probably would have seen a different pitcher.
Probably would have seen Joe Castle, but it's all immaterial right now. And the other thing is CBA can't use its ace today against Bishop Eustis, the kid Lillis, who's 6-0. So. And
Sauer only went 1 inning in relief on Tuesday in their victory over Holy Spirit. The Spartans gave Bishop Eustis a tough game, lost by a run, 5-4, but Sauer is able to go 6 today if needed.
Actually, I had to correct you. Sauer could actually go 8 because he was credited with 2 innings. He went 1 2/3. And there's Pingram, and he starts things off with a shot to left field for a base hit. So he's a leadoff runner, Marcus Pingram is, for Cherokee.
Good job by Pingram, looking first ball, fastball, and he got around on it. Well, here we go again with this team, Mark. You just cannot count Cherokee out in any situation. They will battle back. They will stay in every game. And we'll see if East, leaving the bases loaded, comes back to haunt him now.
So that'll bring up Chris Spina, the designated hitter, who looks at 1 for ball 1. He struck out his first time up, now hitting .333 for the Chiefs.
The guys are still warming up in the Cherry Hill East bullpen.
Gets ahead of it, fly to left field. Rubin back, and he gets under it for the catch in the first out.
Smith has been fortunate because a couple times the Chiefs have just missed. They've been getting under some fastballs and popping them up, but again, Cherokee knows they can hit Smith, and they've been able to get around on him enough during the day.
Hey, we're going to have a pinch hitter here. It looks like Sean DeVries is going to come into the game for Tim Bilo. So DeVries, a junior, has had just 3 at-bats this season. Just 1 for 3 on the year. But he has scored 6 runs, so obviously he's been in some pinch running duty for this team.
Well, this team has enough players on the bench that Bill Hassler's not afraid to go to him. We'll see what DeVries can do here, but yeah, he's someone who can get around on the ball.
And obviously he could re-enter Bilo. Pigrum at first, 1 out. He's getting a decent lead, and that time Kyle Smith went over the first.
Bigger with 1 out down by 4 as we see another throwback over there. Probably not going anywhere, but
well, he only has 1 stolen base on the season. Team down by 4. I would tend to agree with you on that. Ground ball to Rodio. Rodio looking to second, flips to Braut. They won't get the double play, but they do get the force at second for the second out.
Well, smooth play there by Rodio, able to charge that ball, rolling slowly. Weren't going to get the double play regardless, but he realizes he has time still to get the out at second. Doesn't hurry his throw, makes a fine throw to get the out. Here it is again. See Rodio come on that ball, and he looks over to second. He's got time, makes the accurate throw, but it didn't have to rush his throw and throw a while. They go for the double play. A nice catch, by the way, by Nick Daly. That ball rolls too far. It could be an overthrow, and it could move the runner up to second.
Kevin Manning now is 0 for 1, lined out on a hard shot to Braut his first time up. Jedlicka making the throw, and look at this setup by Daly. I think Daly thought he was back playing for Carl Molman on the soccer team that time.
Well, he just saved DeVries moving up to second and maybe even third. That's a great play right there. It's little plays like that, Mark, that really add up in the long run.
High 2-0. Hey, speaking of Carl Molman, how about what he's done now? He's got that Cherokee volleyball team in the state championship game. They've won the past 2, and they're in it again.
He wins wherever he goes. Now, Dave Martin's coming out here to talk to Smith, and Smith, as we mentioned, when he's been wild with his fastball, he's been wild high all day, and I think that's just something in his delivery that the coaching staff sees.
Dave Martin, a pitcher in his day at Southern Illinois, where he was a teammate of former major leaguer Jim Dwyer. Had a long career with the Baltimore Orioles. Ideally, Ed, they'd like to get 4 out of Smith. If they could get 4, they'd be happy. I think anything after that would be gravy for them.
And he has been helped by plenty of run support so far, as is Murray. He has not had his best stuff today. But he does have a couple of big strikeouts to get out of trouble in the second, and he had a big strikeout to end things in the third.
Of course, the winner of this game will be playing in the state Group 4 semifinals, and that'll be Tuesday at the College of New Jersey.
AstroTurf.
Middletown North and Steinert in that Central Jersey final. That's high, 3-0.
Of course, the winner will move on June 6th, a week from Saturday, to Toms River North for the state championship.
You ever been up there, Ed? What a great complex they have there.
Maybe the best in South Jersey, or best in the state of New Jersey, I should say.
And a 4-pitch walk that time, and now that brings the top of the order up in the form of Ho-Won Lee.
Well, he's already gotten around on one today to dead center field, and after a while we found out it was a home run, but Cherokee's got to get a couple of 2-out hits here. They had bases loaded, 2 out, and they got a line drive to end the inning. They had a runner on first and second last inning with 2 out, and they got a strikeout. So Cherokee has to start coming up with some 2-out hits.
Ideally, you don't want Ho-Won Lee swinging for the fences, although he's had home runs in each of his last 2 games, and both of them were pretty good pokes. He had one to left field against Lenape. Pop-up will be in play. Jedlicka going for it. Daly now running after it, and the ball goes out over the dugout.
Looked like it might hang up there as the ball just kept drifting and drifting and finally carried over to the top of the fence, so Lee gets a reprieve here. The ball has been carrying well today, and that's because, again, both pitchers not really throwing their best stuff, and the humidity in the air, too, but we have seen some adventures in the outfield. And Steckheiser still warming up in the pen for the Cougars. And now, we have somebody else up in the bullpen.
Yeah, that's Chad Walsh. They had Steckheiser earlier. Chad Walsh. Walsh, Steckheiser, they've really added to this deep pitching staff. Oh, that time with the split finger. I guess Lee was trying to bunt for a base hit that time, but now gets behind in a count 0-2.
Well, he was, because Rodio was playing so deep at third base. If he does lay a bunt down the third base side, that's going to be a base hit.
And plus Rodio not moving as well as we're used to seeing Rodio move. But now it's 0-2, and you know he'll try to get him to chase one here. That one high.
Got to wonder what's going to happen here if Lee gets on base. Does Cherry Hill East make a pitching change?
But still Smith ahead, the count 1-2. And DeVries getting back to second base. You just have a feeling, Ed, we're going to see a splitter here. It's just going to break away from Lee, and we'll see what kind of discipline he could show.
Good count to do it at 1-2.
Wow, that one way out. Good job by Jedlicka that time. Now count even at 2-2.
And with 2 outs in first and second, number one, you've got Jedlicka catching, and you see why you have confidence in having a pitcher throw that split finger. But also, if it does get by Jedlicka, runners go to second and third, you still have 2 outs, and you're still focusing on the hitter.
Two-two pitch, and now they call time. How many times have we seen that today?
A lot, and these are smart teams, and they have been told by their coaches, pitchers and batters alike, to work on their pace.
Big pitch here in this game. Ground ball to Rodio, and that's foul.
Fought off the split finger that time. Did a nice job just to top it and kind of spoil that pitch by Smith.
You're right. You're right. He did an outstanding job just staying alive.
That's a pitch you're usually not going to get a base hit on. That's a pitch you just have to kind of spoil to give yourself another at-bat.
Of course, Cherokee won the Olympic Conference Patriot Division this year. We talked about East winning the Olympic American. A couple teams in that Patriot came on strong at the end of the year, including Cherry Hill West, which just lost to Mainland the other day in the Group 3 semis. Oh, and he chases the ball out of the strike zone. Jedlicka will throw over the first for the third out. So no runs on that inning on 1 hit, and there were 2 left on base. Cherry Hill East leading by a score of 7-3 as we end the 4th and get ready for the 5th right here on Garden State Cable Channel 2. Welcome back on Garden State Cable Channel 2. Welcome back. Here's a look at that last pitch.
And he has a lot of confidence, as you mentioned, Mark, in that split finger, and Jedlicka able to make the throw to finally retire the side. But that's a pitch that if you're Ho-Wan Lee at 2-2, maybe you're not normally looking for. And it's a pitch, again, that just dies on you. You see, when he throws that split finger, it comes in like it's going over the plate, and the bottom just drops out.
And what we saw there was Jedlicka did a great job of keeping that ball in front of his body so it doesn't bounce by him, because Lee, if the ball goes too far behind with Lee's speed, he's there at first base.
Have a new pitcher now, Mark, for the Chiefs as they made the switch at third in the pitcher's mound.
Tim Bilo now, we've talked about we expected to see Bilo in today. Bilo 4-1 on the season with a 3.71 earned run average. 34 innings pitched. He's allowed 7 home runs, walked 12, struck out 27.
Cherokee had a little problem earlier in the year trying to get that number 2 pitcher behind Murray, and that's part of the reason why they struggle. Bilo's been effective enough here in the postseason that he's been a good complement to Murray.
And Canosa hits a bomb to deep left field. And he's going for extra bases, and it'll be a ground rule double. Ed, we have to apologize. We do not see anything in that left field side, and he's now holding up with a ground rule double to greet Bilo.
Well, new pitcher looked for the first ball fastball and got it, and got around on it pretty quickly. And very quickly, Phil Delonzo is coming out to chat with his new pitcher, Bilo.
Well, East is familiar with Bilo because when they beat Cherokee earlier this season, the Cougars beat Bilo. Here's a look at it, Ed.
Let's see it again. That was slant. A lot of people thought that was going to be gone. You see it just take the hop, and it goes over for the double. Short fence is out in the outfield here at Eastern, so you get a ball that's going to bounce near the fence, chances are it's going to bounce over.
That'll bring the top of the order up in John Braut, and Braut's had a great day, 2 for 3. That ball in the dirt, good block by D'Alonzo. 2 for 3, 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored, and a home run. Braut now hitting .286. Bilo going to second, but Canosa back there in plenty of time.
And Braut here, look for him to try and wait on one and try and take it to the right side and move the runner here. Score 7-3, an 8th run here. Obviously helping out the Cougars after failing to score last inning for the first time.
He's raised his batting average 17 points. There's a shot down third base, but it's foul.
Well, so much for him trying to take it the other way right there. Got a pitch inside, really, and it was not a quick fastball, and I think he kind of adjusted late, but was able to still get around on it and pull it foul.
Of course, Toms River North is the defending South Jersey Group 4 titleist, beating Triton last year in that very quick, memorable 1-0 game behind the big right-hander J.M. Gold, who we've talked about. Fights off a nasty curveball that time. Count now 1-2.
Well, Bilo can use the strikeout right here. A chance for him to keep the runner from advancing to third. This is what Bill Hassler wants to see. Get a strikeout, get a ground ball back to the pitcher, a pop-up, something to keep the runner from staying in, from moving over to third, rather.
The line on Chris Murray, 4 innings pitched, 12 hits, 7 runs, 6 of them earned, 3 strikeouts, and 2 walks. Pop-up, Murray calling for it, and he makes the play for out number 1.
It's a nice pitch by Bilo. No messing around that time. He challenged him straight out with a fastball. It was a high fastball and really came in on Braut, and he popped it up. High fastball inside. Good pitch that time by Bilo. You're a pitcher, as tough as this East lineup is, you have to challenge some of the hitters. In that case, for 2 strikes in the batter, you go after him.
Here's Greg Rubin, who's had a typically solid Rubin day. 1 for 2 with a run scored, a sacrifice bunt, and a couple of nice plays in left field. Rubin has called time a couple of times. He doesn't like being held up there in the batter's box.
It seems like it goes in order for which school decides to call the timeout. It'll be an East batter than a Cherokee batter. It almost seems like they want to get the upper hand on the other.
This would be a great argument for having speed-up rules. So Canosa, the runner at second, 1 down. Swings ahead of that one, and now quickly Bilo ahead 0-1, and that was a problem Murray had today, Ed. He just got behind too many hitters. And
that also resulted not only in some good pitches for Cherry Hill East batters to hit, but a lot of deep counts. He ran a lot of 3-1s and 3-2s, and he threw a lot of pitches. And we mentioned before, Mark, he had thrown again on Tuesday, and he just didn't have his best stuff today.
Of course, East looking for its first sectional title since 1988. So with all the big wins this program has had under Dave Martin, the Cougars have yet to win a state championship. Of course, they did not begin playing state championships on the field until 1971.
But when you think of some of the teams and some of the pitchers they've had here, it is a little surprising.
Breaking pitch for a ball, 1-1. Good block by D'Alonzo.
Always really tough to judge. You know, it really is almost unfair to judge a coach as far as how successful he is if he's won a state title, even if he's had a successful program as Cherry Hill East, because you see these teams, sometimes your pitchers are worn out, sometimes they have a deeper staff.
That'll drop for a base hit, so Rubin's on with his second hit, and Canosa rounding third, and he's in there for the 8th run. So Rubin with the RBI single, and the Cougars now lead it 8-3.
Well, D'Alonzo might have had a chance to get Canosa at the plate. However, we'll take a look at it again. Watch the play here. Another chopper, another one bouncing right off that infield grass. And watch the play. First of all, August makes it. It's a little high, but it's a pretty good throw to come into home plate. Now watch what happens here. If he catches that, by the time his body is down from that leap, there's an excellent chance Canosa is going to get in with his feet anyway.
The other thing is, I noticed on that replay, August hesitated that time. Didn't throw it right away. I didn't think he thought Canosa was coming home, and the heads-up play by Rubin, he gets the second on the base run on the throw. Jedlicka, that ball gets by D'Alonzo. Rubin will get the third on the pass ball.
That's big 2 with 1 out now. Now you have another runner in scoring position at third base. Good teams shake things up on the base path as well. And there's sometimes maybe on the surface it looks like the runner's not going to make it. You send the runner anyway. In this case, heads up base running by Rubin as he goes to third.
Ball in the dirt again. Delonzo with the block. 2-0. Ed, I think you made a good point about it. You can't always judge a team by how many state championships it's win. I think you do judge it by how consistently it's always there contending. And if you go by those standards, East has been one of the premier programs in South Jersey for really the last quarter century since Dave Martin's been here. Misses the squeeze that time, and they have Rubin held up. And they get him out. Delonzo almost waited too long that time, but the failed squeeze. And now Cherokee gets a second out.
Well, it's not a bad attempt there by East because they've got Cherokee a little on their toes because of the shaking up they're doing on the base path, so they thought they might try and catch him. Especially with Jedlicka up with the squeeze. Good job there by Delonzo running the base runner back, and a nice swipe tag by Murray to get the out.
So that's a strike, and the count even now 2-2 to Jedlicka. Ralph is 1 for 2 with a double, a run scored. Low for a ball, full count.
Jedlicka has had a productive day, getting a hit and getting a walk, and having the courtesy runner score for him twice.
And that's high for ball 4. So Jedlicka is now on base for the 3rd time today. And just as you mentioned with the courtesy runner, Ed, it'll be Derek Liu coming in for him.
And now, a case with 2 outs, they had a chance to get out of the inning and walk Jedlicka, and now Bilo has to face Rodio.
Lewis has excellent speed, but I don't think I'd mess around with Rodio at the plate. And that hits him anyway. Hits him on a slow breaking pitch that time. So Doug, who was 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs, is at first base.
Well, again, Bilo wasn't trying to hit Rodio, but I think, Mark, you might be right. That may not be the worst thing in the world. It's up to Kyle Smith now. He's had a big day already with a couple of hits, but I think you'd rather take your chances with anyone other than Rodio in this situation with 2 out.
Kyle Smith is 2 for 3, 2 base hits and RBI. And Eddie has boosted his average over 300, now hitting 306. Came into the game hitting 288. So Cherry Hill East leading here in the top of the 5th, 8-3 over Cherokee. Liner right to Scanzano for the 3rd out. But Cherry Hill East gets 1 run on the RBI single by Greg Rubin. 2 hits and 2 left on base. There's your score in the bottom of the 5th. It's the Cougars leading Cherokee 8-3. There's some people getting a good view of this game here at Eastern High School. Almost reminds you of Wrigley Field, doesn't it, Ed?
The cheap seats, if you will.
This has been a tremendous year of parity in South Jersey. Gloucester Catholic, the consensus #1 team, lost the other day. What do the pollsters do? I mean,
that's why I was going to ask you that, Mark, since I know you have a little influence on that. But I would not want to be a pollster this year, actually in baseball or softball, because you've had so many different pitchers, so many different teams going back and forth. The Bishop Eustace started out red hot earlier in the year, and then Audubon, then Gloucester Catholic came on. And what does Gloucester Catholic do? They lose to CPA. I'll tell you what, Mark. Audubon, I think, would have to be considered now if they win the Group 2 title. I think if Cherry Hill East wins today, they would have to be considered.
Well, I'll tell you what, in my opinion, Ed, and we're talking without knowing the results of the other games, I think it's Audubon's to lose for this reason. Audubon beat Gloucester Catholic beat Eustis, and Audubon beat Cherry Hill East. And Audubon also beat Toms River South, who's in the Group 3 finals. Audubon's had some big wins, so if it went according to form that way, I would think it would be Audubon's to lose, but nothing is a lock as we have a new pitcher into the ball game. And we said Cherry Hill East would be happy to get 4 out of Smith, and they did. And now the right-hander Chad Walsh into the contest. And what a lift he's given this team this year, Ed. 6-0, 2.51 ERA.
And he has really done the job coming in, and he's faced some stiff competition as well. You're getting back to that debate for number one, Mark. Audubon was up there, and then they had that upsetting loss in the first round of the Diamond to Maple Shade. But, of course, the Wildcats are proving that there's certainly no fluke this year as they're playing for the Group 1 title.
Yeah, Maple Shade has had some kind of funny scores, though, losing to Lenape 12-1 in a game, let's be honest, didn't mean much for Maple Shade, but certainly they wanted a better showing. But you're right, in the Group 1 finals against one of the scrappiest teams you'll find in South Jersey, the Pittman Panthers. Talk about never say die. Dan D'Alessandro has done a great job with that team. As McGee takes the first pitch for a ball, it'll be McGee, Murray, and August, the heart of the Cherokee order here in the bottom of the 5th inning, as the Chiefs trail 8-3 to Cherry Hill East in the South Jersey Group 4 final. High ball 2.
Well, not a good way for Walsh to start, not only missing, but missing high. And as we mentioned before with Smith, when you miss like that, it usually means you're just not following through properly with your delivery, and I think that's the case right now. And in all fairness to Walsh, too, I'm sure the adrenaline is flowing right now. He enters the Group 4 championship game with his team up by 5 runs.
Walsh has struck out 31 in 30 2/3 innings. Walked 13. Of course, Walsh was the winning pitcher the other day against Highland when the Cougars clinched the Olympic American Championship. And that's a strike, 2-1 to count. High, 3-1. McGee is 1 for 2 with a run scored. He also walked, hitting .363. Gives them great bat control from that number 2 spot in the order. That's high for ball 4. So McGee's a leadoff base runner here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Well, this is where Cherokee has to at least chip away in this inning. You mentioned, Mark, they have the heart of the order up right now. The new pitcher's in. This is where the Chiefs, I think if they come away scoreless in this inning, then this might be their last chance. I think we have a pinch runner coming in, Mark, now as McGee will exit the game and the Chiefs will put a pinch runner in.
Brian Conley will come in, number 25. Conley has had limited game experience, three at-bats, but he has scored 4 runs. So Walsh will be facing the dangerous Chris Murray, who's 0 for 2 today. Has 25 RBIs, though, and has been a great run producer for this Cherokee team.
Saw the step off right there as Walsh taking his time now and giving a look over to first base, but obviously Conley not going anywhere.
There's a strike down the middle. Murray, by the way, now hitting .404, so he's been doing it on the mound and at the plate.
Looked like Murray might have been taking one there just to get a look at the new pitcher. That's the kind of pitch I think you'd like to have back.
And he offers it that for strike 2.
That's another pitch he liked after getting a fastball, something off at the start, a little low. He gets a high fastball, a little more gas on it from Walsh.
One thing these Cherokee batters won't miss is not seeing that Kyle Smith split finger fastball. Conley getting a decent lead over at first base. Curveball grounded to Braut, to Kolodzey 1, and to Daly for the double play. So Cherry Hill East gets the double play. And the Cougars have done an outstanding job today defensively.
Dead double play ball. Now Walsh, watch. You see the curveball, and it just drops out, and Murray puts a late swing on it. That's why it goes over to second base. Boy, Braut makes it look so smooth, and the quick throw by Kolodzey. Taylor-made double play, but again, the breaking ball, Murray sees it's going to be a strike, so he waited too long before he finally got around the swing. That's why he wasn't able to pull it. That's why he went over to second base.
And Dave August takes the first pitch for a strike. August 2 for 2 with a double, an RBI, his 25th of the season, and a run scored. Low for a ball. August now hitting .306 on the year. And for a guy who was in the low 200s not that long ago, he's really taking it up a notch. High 2-1. Beautiful day here at Eastern High School, 83 degrees. Here you get a good panoramic view of this field. The new Joseph Hartman Field.
Has a nice ring to it, Mark, doesn't it?
In fact, I saw Joe Hartman here. He lines that, but it's right to Kolodzey for the third out. So no runs, no hits, there were no errors, and nobody left on base. We're through 5, and it's Cherry Hill East 8, Cherokee 3. When we return, Ed Bankin will take you through the rest of the game on Play-by-Play.
Narducci back here at Eastern High School, top of the 6th inning, set to get underway. Cherry Hill East, as you see, leading Cherokee by a count of 8-3. For the Cougars, it'll be the 6th, 7th, and 8th hitters. It'll be Daly, Zappasodi, and Joe Kolodzey. East getting 2 runs in the first, 4 in the second, 1 in the third, and 1 in the 5th. John Braut has the only home run of the day for Cherry Hill East. Ho-Wan Lee has a solo shot for the Chiefs. As we mentioned before, Cherokee's had a lot of comebacks, so they are certainly not out of this game by any means, but Cougars right now seem to be in control as we move to the top of the 6th. And you see many of the crowd on hand here. This is a huge crowd here, as we always seem to see, especially here in Group 4 for South Jersey Baseball Championship Ball. A lot of people lined up down the outfield side, and there's Tim Bilo in. First pitch is popped up, coming our way, heading foul near the gate. And it is foul. That one almost went out of play. As Delonzo gave it a look, the ball stayed in play, as you saw, right in front of us, as a matter of fact. And I think Delonzo thought that ball was going out of the gate and actually landed behind it.
Delonzo landed a right cross to that fence, too.
Right, don't you? The gate. We feel lucky with the fence when the balls are coming this way. It's even better when the catchers are throwing punches. So 1 long strike to Daly. That one popped up into right field. Pegram under it. He should have this one with no problem. Backs up and puts it away for the out. Lonzo's pretty strong, Mark. There's a dent in the fence.
Hey, better in the fencing than us. We weren't that far from that.
I almost brought my glove out. Arnold Zappasodi stepping in. He is lined into a double play. He has singled, scored a run, and has struck out. 8-3 Cougars, top of the 6th. High for a ball, as Mark mentioned. Cherokee has not won a title in South Jersey sectional since 1985. East has not won since 1988.
Of course, remember that East team with Glenn Foley. Kevin Foley was a freshman that year. Steve Young was a freshman. That was a very, very good Cherry Hill East team.
And this is what we talked about before, Mark, the sign of good coaches to have your programs competitive. Here's a great example. These are 2 outstanding programs, and you see how long their drought has been for a championship as that pitch is low. That's an example, again, of when a coach makes his team a contender every year. I think that's where you measure them by. One of them will get a sectional title today, and right now East has the 5-run advantage. Over for a called strike, it's 3-1. Zappasodi, as we've seen, can get around on one. His double was ripped down the left field line. Popped up down the right side. That one will go out of play.
And the pitching rules are set up so a team, whichever team wins today, can actually throw its ace on Tuesday and then come back and throw on Saturday in the finals. But what you like about Cherry Hill East is they've used so many pitchers that they haven't worn them out. They can use a number of people, a number of arms.
And that's why, while they will face stiff competition if they do advance, the pitching depth certainly can make a difference for them as they try and go after their first state championship if they can survive Cherokee today. Full count. Fastball, and that's popped up right side. Giving it a look is McGee near the stands, and he puts it away for the out. So 2 up and 2 down for Cherry Hill East here in the 6th. And Kolodzey will step to the plate. He has struck out, singled, and hit into a fielder's choice. He's 1 for 3. Dare I say it, Mark? Cherry Hill East has not gone down 1-2-3 in this ball game. Popped up. That'll go foul over our heads and out of play. Almost took out a vehicle parked near the football field. I parked way out of the area.
I parked at Eastern's parking lot.
Actually parked in Marlton, took the walk over here. Breaking ball, that misses high. It's 1-1. 8-3, Cherry Hill East on top. We're in the top of the 6th inning. Nubbed over to the right side. This should be a play for Murray, fighting the sun, but he squeezes it to retire the side. So 1-2-3 inning for the Cougars here in the 6th. No runs, hits, or errors, and none left. Bottom of the 6th we go. Cherokee needs some runs. They trail East by a count of 8-3. Well, Mark, Chad Walsh coming on here, and we saw him throw wild high, a couple of pitches. Then he really settled down nicely. I think, again, the adrenaline was flowing early. And he had to face the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for Cherokee last inning. He still has to face Scanzano, Pegram, and Spina here, but did a nice job getting out of trouble.
I'll tell you, Ed, you're right. And I think if they can get the 3 innings out of Walsh and keep Rodio out of this game, it'll even leave him fresher if they're able to win it and advance.
Absolutely. I think they'd like to see Rodio start Tuesday, and if Walsh can continue to pitch like this, he does have a 5-run lead, so he has a bit of a cushion to work with. Chance, too, we could see Rodio ready in relief today in case they do need him.
Let's see if we see Rodio. Yeah, he's still out there at third base, so he can't be warming up. It's nice luxury, isn't it, to bring a guy 6-0 off the bench to be able to come in relief?
Again, too, that's a great credit to Dave Martin and his staff. It's one thing to have young pitchers and pitchers who haven't pitched as much on the varsity level develop, but to have them develop to a point where mentally they can be ready to pitch in these situations. This is a confident bunch. This is a confident pitching staff. A guy like Walsh can come in and really not be intimidated by the surroundings. Root for a championship game. So Cherokee set to go here in the 6th. It'll be Scanzano, Pegram, and Spina. Scanzano has walked and struck out so far today and has made some fine plays at shortstop. And in case you're just joining us, as we mentioned, this Cherokee team has played comeback all season, especially late in the season, twice in the tournament, once in the Diamond Classic. They've had to overcome some huge deficits to get to where they are today. And this might be the toughest challenge yet as Scanzano stands in. Breaking ball in the inside corner for a strike. Nobody up in the Cherry Hill East bullpen. Fastball, and that just missed. It's 1-1.
I'm surprised we have not seen some Cherokee bunts, Ed, with how Rodio's moving at third base.
That's grounded up the middle. It has eyes, and it bounces in for a base hit. Another high hop for good measure. And Scanzano is a leadoff base runner here in the 6th.
I know Lee tried the one bunt that he missed on that time, but just looking for base runners if you're Cherokee.
Well, they've got one. They've got the leadoff base runner on for the 5th consecutive inning. Let's take a look at it again.
Again, a lot of these batters are going low, and look at the bad hop there that time. Kolodzey had no chance at it.
Here's Pegram. He's reached base on an error, and he's singled. He's 1 for 2. As the throw comes back to first. You know, Kolodzey did such a great job of closing the gap there. Would have been tough to make the play, but Mark, if that ball doesn't take a high hop, he might have been able to snare that.
Tremendous range. Pigram's, by the way, has been on base 6 straight times over the last 2 games.
Breaking ball, that goes over for a called strike. It's 0-1. Runner at first for the Chiefs. Nobody out. Bottom of the 6th, they trail 8-3. way high for a ball, and it slips off of Jedlicka's glove, but he's able to recover. 1-1. Jedlicka's done a fine job today behind the plate. There, you get a look at him right there. Now time is called as Pegram gets tired of waiting and steps out. Missing low for a ball, it's 2-1. Outfield is playing Pegram round to pull. Get a good look at him from that angle. There's another throw back and another nice play by Daly. Boy, Nick Daly going to be the unsung defensive hero of the day for East. He has made some fine plays over at first base to avoid trouble.
Ed, he does it every game. Around the bag, there's no one better defensively in South Jersey.
Up high for a ball, it's 3-1.
You got to look at this pitch if you're Pegram. You've got to.
Jedlicka coming out to chat with Walsh a little bit here. Also, Murray having some words, Daly rather having some words with him. There is the all-everything goalie / first baseman for Cherry Hill East.
Never has a clean uniform either. He's always, there you see it there, always diving in the dirt for balls.
And it hits him off the batting helmet. Pegram appears to be okay. That's the second hit batsman of the day, and Pegram goes over to first base, and the Chiefs have first and second with nobody out. Let's take a look at that again. High fastball just got away.
Looked like his shoulder got it and almost protected him from getting hit in the head that time. And the one problem you have, if you're going to bring Rodio in to pitch, he's only going to get his 8 warm-up pitches.
Yeah, I really think they want to see Walsh at least get through this inning. They love to see him get through the 6th and 7th, obviously, but at least get out of any kind of trouble here in the 6th. Here's Chris Spina. He's 0 for 2. He struck out and flied out. Scanzano at second, Pegram at first. Fastball up high, 1-0.
They're not going to take the bat off their shoulders, Ed. All 3 batters have started out looking, and he's got to make sure Walsh throws strikes.
That's over for a called strike. It's 1-1.
You had to do that. Again, looks like Deckheiser's going to warm up in the bullpen again for Cherry Hill East.
So he could be the next option here if Walsh is unable to get out of trouble. Breaking ball served back to the mound. Walsh bobbles, will go to second for the out there. A low throw, but they're able to get the out. Making a nice play to hold on at second base is Braut. So moving up to third base is Scanzano. Spina safe at first on a fielder's choice. There's 1 out.
And on a 1-1 pitch that time, Spina really helps by swinging it one low and way out of the strike zone. And again, Kolodzey, I don't know, was his foot on that bag yet?
I'll tell you what, the ball was almost not in the glove. That was a close play. He got a great look at it right there. He got it at the top of the glove. I said it was Braut. It was actually Kolodzey making the play. We'll take a look at that again in a second. Meanwhile, we have another pitch coming. Oh, it is very close. He might not be on the bag. You're right, Mark. You got a good look at it right there. Here's Bilo standing in now as they take some time. Somebody on the mound as Walsh. We saw right there, Mark. I think you're right. Bilo is 0 for 2. He has reached on a fielder's choice and struck out. Takes that pitch inside, 1-0. Kevin Manning awaits on deck.
They probably have the scouting report. Bilo's batting 176 at. A guy like that, you've got to come at him.
Fastball, and that's over for a strike. It's 1-1. And of course, Manning, even though he's the number 9 hitter in the order, we mentioned he has a high average this season. So not a case where East wants to see the number 9 hitter up with the bases loaded. Breaking ball, just missing a bit inside for a ball. It's 2-1.
Not only just missing it, it almost hit Bilo that time. It was a slow curveball, so he wasn't that anxious to get out of the way.
Breaking ball hit over to the right side, making the play on his Braut, but he can't get it. A bad bounce. Coming in to score is Scanzano. Safe at first is Bilo, and it's an 8-4 game. Well, that took a bad bounce over at second base. That was a tough play for Braut.
I think Braut took his eye off the ball and had to look at it again. Took his eye off, and I think that's where it went. There it is. We've seen the bad bounces today.
Also had the base runner going in front of him, too. I think that was a problem. Tell you, it would have been a close play. I think you may have to score that in error. He was distracted because Spina's going from first to second, and Spina also fortunate that the ball did not hit him.
Give him the RBI anyway, because the run would have scored on that.
Here is Manning. He is lined out and walked 0 for 1. First and second for the Chiefs, 1 out. Low for a ball. It's 1-0. Manning probably taking till he gets one here, especially with Lee on deck.
And Walsh has been behind just about every batter here. Well, Bilo was a big batter that inning to get on base from a Cherokee perspective, because now, unless there's a double play, you're going to get to that dangerous top of the order.
Fastball up high, 2-0 to Manning. There's the situation. Runners at first and second. 8-4, East on top. Bottom of the 6th, 1 out. And now here comes Dave Martin. Let's see, he might be thinking about making a change here. And we will have a pitching change, I believe, for Cherry Hill East. Let's see. Did take the ball away. We are going to have a new pitcher coming in for the Cougars. There is Dave Martin.
This is Bill Caston coming in. We saw Caston pitch against Gloucester Catholic in the Diamond Classic.
So the third pitcher of the day for Cherry Hill East. Walsh did the job last inning, but has struggled here, and now Cherokee has a chance to get something going. Mark, I cannot remember a game, and this is not using this as an excuse or any luck or anything, where there have been so many weird hops and strange hops, high hops in the infield, which resulted in hits and errors.
Ed, look at this. Right behind Caston warming up is Rodio, who's come in from third base and is actually throwing as if he's pitching, even though he's not pitching to a catcher there. So Rodio's actually getting some warm-up tosses to the left of Caston.
Just saw one of the umpires. Well, one of the umpires just came in. I think he said he has to throw to one of the other fielders. He can't throw to someone. There he is. There we see it right there.
That's Deckheiser right there, still in the bullpen. But on the field, you see number 9, Rodio, near first base, and he's actually warming up as if he's pitching, throwing the Braut. So that's very interesting. So not only are they getting Caston in the game, they have Rodio. There you see him, number 9, behind there in your screen, behind Bill Caston. Caston 2-1 on the season with a save. So we had talked about Rodio getting warmed up. He's using the most out of this pitching change.
Yeah, why not? Again, Rodio is available to throw, and if Caston gets into trouble, they might have to go with him. Let's see. How about Cherokee again, Mark? We've seen it all year round. They just do not die.
Yeah, does any team have more heart than the Chiefs?
And let's face it, you're down 8-2, 1 out, nobody on in a game. You figure you throw it in 10-4 late, you figure your season's over. A lot of character on both of these teams. It's just been interesting how East has really been able to play with a lead this whole tournament, while Cherokee's had to fight from behind.
So the count's 2-0, so the batter actually will be Walsh's. You know he's just not going to lift this bat, Ed, till he sees a strike.
High for a ball. It's 3-0. Lee waits on deck. As we mentioned, he has 1 home run today already. Gaston taking his time now, and he is set to go. There's a pickoff throw, and it gets away from Gaston. Looked like it slipped out of his hand. Well, 3-0, you know that Manning is looking all the way, so East tries a pickoff play.
You know, I don't know if he didn't do that on purpose, because Braut went out as if the ball went to the outfield to kind of serve as a decoy that time. Cherokee would have none of being fooled by that.
Fastball, that's over for a strike. It's 3-1. Manning may be looking at this one here, too.
I agree with you, Ed. I would definitely go that route. Even though Manning's a 400 hitter, you want base runners.
Breaking ball missed. Ball 4. The bases are loaded with Chiefs, and the tying run comes to the plate in the form of Ho-Wan Lee. 1 for 3 with a home run. Here you see the runner at second base. That's Bilo. Runner at third base is Spina, as you see Rodio directing traffic. Fastball over for a strike. One out, bases loaded in the 6th, East up by 4. Breaking ball, and that's over for a strike. It's 0-2. Lee not happy with the call.
With Jedlicka back there, you have confidence to throw that breaking pitch too, because you know he'll stop anything within reach. I'd throw him another one right here, see what he does.
Has to be careful if we waste one. Ripped up the middle, bad hop, it goes under the legs of Braut. Spina scores, Bilo heading for the plate, the throw is cut off, he scores, moving up to third is Manning, and it's an 8-6 game. That time, Mark, the ball didn't even bounce.
No, there was a little question on some of the other ones. That one just went right through him. And by the way, Greg Amato slipped in there as a courtesy runner. He scored one of those runs for Cherokee.
Officially, we have it as 3 errors today for the Cougars. There were 2 that could have gone either way, so it evens out as one of them was ruled an error. There is Lee at first. First and third now. Lee represents the tying one, and even with 1 out, Lee might think about running here.
There's no question about it.
And now the go-ahead run comes to the plate in the form of Derek McGee. He has walked twice and grounded out. He has also scored a run. 8-6 game. Lee starts and stops as the first pitch is over for a called strike. Of course, the other advantage of having Lee running, getting to second, not only does it put him in scoring position, but it takes out the double play potential. Well, you have good speed at the plate and at first base. Breaking ball, it just missed. It's 1-1.
And I would give them one more batter till I brought Rodio in now. As it wasn't that long ago, we were talking about trying to save him for the next game. There may not be a next game if you wait too long.
There's the throw back into first base. I made the mistake before of saying in last inning with the heart of the order, if Cherokee doesn't get anything going, they'd probably be out of it. Should learn never to underestimate this team. Still down by 2 here. Fastball missing up high. It's 2-1. It's a big hitter right here for Gaston. As you mentioned, Rodio getting some warm-up tosses. Probably he's ready to come in for the Cougars if need be. There goes Lee to second. Pitch misses for a ball. The throw down to second is way late. And a good block by Kolodzey. Second and third now for the Chiefs. Meanwhile, that was ball 3, so there's a 3-1 count to McGee.
You saw McGee, what a smart batter that time. He was faking as if he would bunt it. He was just trying to protect the runner. But he got the bat back in time, so a strike wasn't called.
Popped up, left field, fairly deep. Who's going to get a look at it? Looks like the left fielder, Rubin, and he puts it away. Tagging at third is Manning. He will come in to score. Lee holds it second, but it's an 8-7 game. So McGee gets the 7th run across with the sac fly. Let's take a look at it again. Good job by Rubin to throw to the cutoff.
3-1 pitch that time, too. Got under it too much. This is a really, really interesting decision now. They're letting Caston in the pitch to Chris Murray.
Might pitch very carefully here to Chris Murray. He does have the base open.
Well, they intentionally walked him, so that's pretty careful.
As careful as you can get. But now they have to face Dave August. He's 2 out of 3. With a single, a double, and a run scored. He's already been responsible for some late inning heroics already for the Chiefs this past month.
I think I'd bring Rodio in, and Dave Martin's going out there. We'll see what he's going to do, or maybe he'll look for Deckheiser, who is well warmed up.
Looks like he is going to make a change, however.
This is a great strategy.
Here comes Deckheiser.
Well, now it looks like Tennett's coming in. Now Tennett plays third base a lot, so they might be putting Tennett at third and Rodio pitching. That looks like how they're going to go, Ed.
And I think a good decision here by Dave Martin. No reason for the Cougars to take any chances. If you're Cherry Hill East, you have to put your ace in right here, and he does. So Rodio comes in, the 4th pitcher of the day for the Cougars.
Keep in mind, Rodio has only pitched 15 1/3 innings this year. He's 2-0, but he has 3 saves, 16 strikeouts. He's walked 9, so he hasn't always found the strike zone. And the thing is, Ed, because he hurt his leg earlier in the year, he has been pitching out of the stretch. Now, he's going to have to anyway with Lee on second base, but he has been pitching out of the stretch, and he hasn't been able to throw quite as hard as we're used to seeing him throw. Still, he has the ability to overpower people.
All right, Cherokee down 8-3 coming into this inning. They played at 4, and August stepping up, meaning they'll have batted around here in the 6th. And he has a chance to tie the ball game up. And also with 2 outs, if he can put one in the gap, it could give the Chiefs the lead. But the Cougars have the man they want on the mound now in this situation.
But Rodio not throwing very hard in his warm-up pitches.
This game over 2 hours old, and we are still at 83 degrees. At the time right now you're seeing it's about 6:30, so still a very warm day out here. It's been humid earlier in the day, now things cooling off a little bit. Keep in mind, too, if you're just joining us, because of the coin flip, Cherokee is the home team.
He's really not airing it out in these warm-ups, and I'm wondering if they even would bring him in had he not been able to throw on the side there when they brought in Caston.
Or, of course, he could just be pacing himself a little bit here and waiting to rear back when he faces August. Well, I think this shows the importance of why Cherokee's been on a roll. Murray gets the intentional walk with August slumping earlier in the year. That really looks good. Now with August sitting the way he is, it's a dangerous situation.
Yeah, you pick your poison. I mean, you're either going to get Murray or you're going to get August. Either way, it's a tough task.
So here's August, as you mentioned, 2 out of 3, a single, a double, a run scored. He's also lined out. Breaking ball, missing low, and a weird delivery that time by Rodio.
I wonder how loose Rodio is at this point. See how he's on the mound. He's kind of stretching his arm out. And sure, he's ready to fire it.
Now time is called. August, as the other Cherokee hitters, might be taking till he gets one here.
I agree with you. I think that's what's happening. And if I'm Rodio, I just try to throw a strike here, thinking along those lines.
Put a little more mustard on that pitch as he gets the strike. It's 1-1.
I think Rodio's just got to keep challenging people with his fastball.
Now time is called.
Yeah, he went down to a camp this winter in Florida and was clocked at throwing 91 miles an hour. Well, you know he certainly has the velocity.
Fastball and a beauty for a second strike. It's 1-2. Well, Rodio knows the pitchers have been getting that low strike all day, and he puts it right where he should. So 1-2 now to August. 2 outs, first and second for the Chiefs, trailing by 1. Low and outside for a ball. It's 2-2.
Boy, great job by Jedlicka that time. Rodio throws so hard that you always like a catcher to get his body in front of it, but he throws so hard it doesn't always give you the time, so Jedlicka had to backhand that one. And you know, Lee's at second base. He runs so well that a ball all the way back to the backstop, I mean, it's conceivable he could get to home. What a great game.
Thought it would be a great game. It certainly has turned out to be. It's almost going according to script. Cherry Hill East gets the lead. Cherokee makes a comeback, and now here we are. We're in a 1-run game in the 6th. Two and 2, the count to August. Low for a ball to full count. So the runners will be taken off with 2 outs. Lee from second and Murray from first. Rodio, you see, taking his time before he gets back on the mound. This, right now, is the pitch of the ball game. Breaking ball struck him out to get out of trouble here in the 6th as Rodio gets the job done. However, Cherokee back in this ball game with 4 runs, and they do so with officially just 1 hit. There was 1 Cougar error and 2 left on base. 7th inning we go. Cherry Hill East leading by a score of 8-7. Let's take a look at that pitch.
This pitch really dropped, Ed. Tremendous movement that time.
So we will step aside. 7th inning on the way. Cherry Hill East 8, Cherokee 7. Stay with us on Garden State Cable. Well, we're just underway here in the top of the 7th. Ed banking back with Mark Narducci as Chris Canosa steps in, takes the first pitch for a ball. He has singled, doubled, reached base on the fielder's choice, and scored twice. 8-7 Cherry Hill East as we get the foul ball. We are in the top of the 7th inning as Cherokee has played at 4 in the bottom of the 6th to make this one a thriller.
Ed, lost in all this is the fact that Tim Bilo's come in. He's allowed just the 1 run in his first 2 innings and done a pretty nice job. And I thought Bilo getting on base on that error was the whole key in that previous inning.
Quickly 1-1 the count now to Canosa. That one ripped high into the air in deep left field. That one going way back, way back. Shalom, goodbye. Solo home run for Canosa, who is now 3 for 4 in the number 9 spot. Cherry Hill East leads it 9-7.
Well, we talked about how he's been on fire especially in the second half of the season, Ed. And they just haven't been able to get him out.
Talk about a big boost for his team. Watch this again.
Fastball right down the middle that time, and he left no doubt about it.
And cleared the fence by plenty.
Chris Canosa just put a charge into that.
Come on, Timmy!
You saw the ball landed way back over the fence. 9-7 Cherry Hill East is taking the first pitch for the strike is Braut. Braut on the day has hit a home run, singled, reached base on an error, and popped out. He is 2 for 4, and he has 2 runs scored as well. Or talk about an emotional lift, too. You give up 4 runs, it's a 1-run game. To come back with that home run, that is big for the Cougars. Bouncing up there for a ball, it's 1-1.
Timmy, come on, Tim!
Cherry Hill East had a 6-1 lead earlier in the day. Actually a 6-0 lead before Cherokee finally started to chip away. Fouled back in front of the plate.
Ooh, that's smart.
Caught her off the foot. So now the count is 1-2 to Braut. Gets checked to see if he's okay from who else? The authority on getting your uniform dirty, Nick Daly. You see, you get a good look right there as Braut's just taking his time flexing that foot a little bit. I don't think he's coming out of the game. Breaking ball serve, foul right past head coach Dave Martin.
So it's interesting that Braut and Chris Canosa, who had one home run each coming into the day, both park one. Just never know in this game.
And yeah, Ho-Wan Lee with the center field shot. Popped up in the infield. Who's calling for it? It'll be Scanzano. And he takes it for out number 1. 1 out here in the 7th, and Greg Rubin will step to the plate for the Cougars. He sacrificed, singled twice, flied out, and scored a run. So a pretty productive day, officially 1 for 3. Scheduled to hit for Cherokee, incidentally, in the bottom of the 7th. Scanzano, Pegram, and Spina, the same trio which led off the 6th.
Yeah, there are always obstacles this late in the season you have to deal with. Cherry Hill East had its prom last night. Cherokee has its prom tonight. I think some of the baseball players may be a few minutes late.
Bounces up there for a ball. Tell those limos to come up a little late.
And Rubin, by the way, at the plate is actually going to Edgewood's prom tonight. He went to his own last night. I said, hey, at least you don't have to rent a second tux.
2 proms for the price of 1.
You know what? He already has a tux.
Popped up, now shallow center field. Lee's got to give this one a look as he comes in after going out, has trouble, but puts it away for the out.
Wow, that's a good recovery because right from the beginning he had misjudged that. He had started going back on the ball, then had to make the recovery in there. And again, with his speed, he can outrun some of those initial mistakes.
2 outs now, and Jedlicka will come to the plate. He's had a big day as well. 2 walks, a double, 2 runs scored. He's also struck out, officially 1 for 2. You see Ralph Jedlicka, he's really done a fine job behind the plate today as well. Over for a called strike, it's 0-1. Breaking ball, missing high and inside, it's 1-1. 9-7, Cherry Hill East. We are in the top of the 7th in what has been a wild Group 4 final. A little different from that 1-0 game from last year, Mark. That one served down the left field line, and that's in for extra bases. Jedlicka will take the turn, and now he's heading for second after hesitating, and he will go in with a stand-up double. Derek Liu will probably come in to run for him now, and he is getting ready to do so. So East has a 2-out threat, and keep in mind, Cherry Hill East has been very productive with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
By the way, I would not pitch to him with first base open. Chad Tennant on deck has not been, just came into the game for defensive purposes.
I would not be surprised if they give Rodio the intentional walk right here.
And to the surprise of no one, that is what happened. Of course, in high school, you don't have to make the 4 pitches.
Which I really think they should put in every level. People talk about speeding up the game. No reason to throw 4 pitches out of the strike zone. Point down to first and let them go, just like in college, just like in high school. So Tennant will get his first at-bat of the day. As Mark mentioned, he came in for defensive purposes. On the year, he's batting at .222. Does have 36 at-bats. 8 hits, 8 RBIs. Does have 1 home run.
Excuse me, Justin Kaplan coming in. Now that Rodio's the pitcher, they could use the courtesy running for him.
That one hit over towards the hole. Murray bobbles it. He'll pick it up. He'll have a low throw to first. Not in time. Holding at second base is Kaplan, and it's first and second. Excuse me, bases loaded for the Cougars. So first and second, they have everybody moving. Bases loaded now for Cherry Hill East. That'll be an error on Murray. So the door is open for Cherry Hill East with the bases loaded, leading by 2 to stretch their lead. And here comes Nick Daly. He's walked, popped up, singled, and flied out 1 for 3. Fastball low, nice scoop by DeLonzo. Lou at third, Kaplan at second. Excuse me, Kaplan at first. Make that second base. Sorry, we've had a couple courtesy runners here this inning. Swing and a miss for a strike. So there's 1-1.
Come on now, Tim! Come on, Tim!
Breaking ball, that's over for a called strike. That's Tennant over at first, Kaplan at second, Lou at third. Now the count is 1-2. There's a pretty big hole on that right side of the infield. Breaking ball, and that looked like, did it hit him? Let's hear, did it hit the bat? They're making discussion right now. They're going to rule he was hit, and that'll bring in a run.
Wow, I thought it hit the bat, but
Bill Hassler's got a few choice words here. We heard a sound. It might have gotten the bat and the body. Let's take a look at it. I might have got the bottom of the bat, Mark. The way
I would think if that hit him, he'd be wincing a little bit, even though it was...
The way the ball came off, you'd have to believe either it hit his elbow or hit the bottom of the bat, because it took such a hard carom over to the far side after it hit.
Hit the bat!
Instant replay!
Watch it on TV!
We already got to look at it. Maybe, I'm not sure if we can take a look at it again, but that was very close.
Instant replay.
The thing that hurt was a 1-2 pitch, too, that time.
So the run does count, as you saw on the replay. Zappasodi will now step up. 10-7 Cherry Hill East. Zappasodi's hit into a double play, singled, scored a run, struck out, and popped up. First pitch on the corner for a strike.
What you want to do on a guy like Zappasodi is try to jam him, but I wonder now if Byler's going to be afraid to come in after hitting Daly that last pitch.
That goes low for a ball. It's 1-1. That's a good point there, Mark, especially in this situation. Now, you're a hitter in this situation. It's not a fastball, and it's coming inside at you. With the bases loaded, 10-7 the championship game, you might be a little late getting out of the way. Fastball bumped high into the air in deep left field, going way back, way back. Giroux, goodbye. Grand slam home run. And Cherry Hill East leads it 14-7.
Well, Zappasodi just zapped it out of here, Ed. Pretty good pitch. He got a fastball in the outside corner that time and pulled it that way. And Ed, you realize that all the runs, with the exception of Canosa's homer this inning, are unearned.
Yeah, people saw the fence move. You saw what happened there. August, knowing it's a breakaway fence, you can just keep running. But, boy, how about the Cougars? They're facing a team that's known for its comebacks. They make it an 8-7 game. Rodio gets the strikeout. And how about East putting 6 up this inning? That's how championship teams respond. And Zappasodi overcome by emotion a little bit.
Ed, this is going to look like a blowout, but that play with Daly getting hit now looms as a huge, huge play.
14-7, that's usually a score from the fall. Meanwhile, Kolodzey steps in. He has struck out singled, reached base on a fielder's choice, and he has popped up. And Cherry Hill East is batted around here in the top of the 7th. Ground ball down the third base side. That'll go foul.
You know, for a guy that wasn't starting 2 weeks ago, Zappasodi's made a pretty big splash here in the postseason.
And you mentioned too, Mark, that was not a bad pitch by Bilo. It was the lower, almost outside part, and for him not only to put it out, but to pull it, it shows how much talent he really has. That one served into right center field. That may find some space, and it drops in for extra bases, and it goes over the fence for a ground rule double. And here comes Bill Hassler. This will probably be it for Bilo.
Think he's going to bring Murray back to the mound?
Take a look at it again. Pitch was up that time.
I'll tell you what, Kolodzey's done as good a job as anyone you'll see as taking the ball the other way. He took that outside pitch that way to right field.
So Kolodzey on second and Murray back in. There's Bill Hassler. And so Cherry Hill East has certainly earned this lead, but I think if the score does hold up and Cherokee goes on to lose, the Chiefs are going to wonder about that play where it was tough to tell whether the batsman was hit or whether the ball hit the bat.
Well, keep in mind, Ed, if Cherokee does not score in the bottom of the inning, all that
doesn't even matter.
Right.
So Murray continues with his warm-up tosses. And Easter, again, you really have to give them credit. It started with the bottom of the order. Canosa has been doing it all day with the home run. And then after Canosa hit the home run, there were 2 straight outs. So they had the 2 outs and the bases empty. And they just made things happen. Now we'll see how Murray does. He only needs 1 more out. And don't forget, he started this game. If you're joining us late, finally taken out in the 4th and just did not have his good stuff today, but all he needs is 1 more out. Well, Murray's going to try and get Cherokee out of a jam here, but the Chiefs, who have had so many comebacks, are mounting one today. They'll have. Well, here's Canosa. He started things this inning. There you see the Cherry Hill East dugout, knowing they are now 3 outs away from the title, and they have a 7-run lead. Canosa started this inning with a home run. Ground ball over to third. Another bad hop. That'll be a base hit, as that one hopped right over Bilo, who's now at third base. Holding at third base is Kolodzey. So Canosa now has 4 hits in that number 9 spot.
There have just been some serious bad hops in this infield today, and there's another one. Nothing Bilo could do about it.
It gets to a point for the fielders, it has to be psychological, knowing you just don't know how the ball's going to bounce. So now Braut will step back in. He's had a busy day. He has reached base on an error, homered, singled, and popped out twice. Also has 2 runs scored. He is officially 2 for 5. Missing outside for a ball. It's 1-0. East with 6 runs in the 7th to stretch their lead to 7. That one almost hits him. It gets away from Delonzo, but holding it third is Kolodzey.
Of course, Canosa going to second on that pass ball.
So second and third now for the Cougars. Missing low for a ball, 3-0.
Ed, what a tough job an umpire has. You and I saw the replay here. You thought it was a right call. I thought it hit the bat, and we're looking at it in slow motion.
Actually, I did think it hit the bat too.
Oh,
I agree
okay.
with you.
Oh,
But,
okay.
But and where the umpire is, he's got the batter turning in front of him, so it is a tough call to make.
I mean, there's still a glimmer of doubt after looking at it in slow motion.
Pitch is called strike. It's 3-1. High chopper heading up the middle, and that's in for a base hit. Kolodzey scores. Canosa will hold at third, and holding at first base with an RBI single is Braut. It's 15-7. The Cougars have now sent 11 batters to the plate, and here comes the 12th one in the form of Greg Rubin. He has sacrificed, singled, popped out, singled, and popped out. Officially 2 for 4. That one ripped foul going out of play. And Mark, you're right. If this score and this lead holds up, there's going to be a lot of people opening up the newspaper tomorrow saying, boy, it was a blowout. But 1-run game until the 7th.
By the way, let's not make too much on that hit batter for this reason. Cherry Hill East has gotten 19 hits. It hasn't as if they haven't been hitting the ball.
And they have made the most of their opportunities as well, as that one misses low and inside. Again, when you have a tournament like this, it could have gone either way. Team gets a call their way. They take advantage of it. They send a lot of batters to the plate. They get a lot of hits, and they did the job. Missing up high for a ball. It's 2-1.
The other thing is they did a lot of the damage against Chris Murray, who, let's remember, Ed, arguably has had the second best pitching season in South Jersey, maybe behind only Bishop Eustis's Mark Sauer. Been a dominating season for the junior right-hander.
Pitch just missing for a ball. It's 3-1. Huge crowd still on hand here, but they have actually both sides at this point have quieted. The Cougar fans enjoying the big inning and then settling down now. Ground ball over the left side. That's in for a base hit. Canosa scores. Holding at second is Braut. Rubin to first with an RBI single. And the onslaught is on now for the Cougars as they played another run.
Ed, despite the score, if East holds on, and you never know with the way Cherokee comes back, but Rodio stands to get the save.
16-7, there's your story right now. And Mark, you mentioned before, Cherokee has their prom tonight. That's where it keeps up. They may not get there at all because
they may not make the midnight buffet there.
Here comes Bo Hassler. I wonder if he's going to make a change now and see if he's going to bring somebody else in. So Murray's going to come back out. Let's see what they do now. Bilo looks like he's leaving the ball game, and the Chiefs will bring in a new pitcher. As Hutchins will now come in to pitch for the Chiefs. Hutchins on the year so far is an ERA of 3.24. Struck out 22, walked 13. Has given up 11 earned runs on the season. He's worked a total of 24 innings, 4 games, 5 of them in relief. So Ryan Hutchins will try and finally end this inning. He's a junior coming in on the mound, so he'll be back next year for the Chiefs. As this game is getting close to the 3-hour mark. And there you see, I think that look pretty much tells it all right now.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration, home run Lee there.
Even worse right now for the Chiefs, just trying to get out of this inning. But the Cougars, again, this East lineup, people talk about a lot of tough hitting lineups top to bottom. I know the averages tell a lot of the East hitters have struggled some this year, but people talk about teams like Bishop Eustis can hit, Gloucester Catholic, Washington Township. This East team, when they get there's anybody. So we'll step aside while there's a pitching change for the Chiefs. It's 16-7 Cherry Hill East. We'll be back with more on Garden State Cable. Oh, pitching change here for Cherokee. Ryan Hutchins stepping in, 16-7, and now stepping to the plate is Ralph Jedlicka. He has had a big day at the plate as well, as that first pitch is high for a ball. He scored 3 runs, 2 doubles, 2 walks, and he has also struck out, so he's officially 2 for 3. Pickoff attempt or look back over to second base, but scampering back in is Braut. I think Hutchins just has to worry about the batter right here. Fastball swung on a miss for a strike. It's 1-1. That one bounces up there. Nice job by Delonto to block it. Textbook example right there. Catcher using his body to block the ball.
Alonzo's had to block a few today, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
Well, Ed, this kept intact our streak of always having big run games, you and I. One of these days we're going to get a 1-0 no-hitter or something.
Highly doubtful if our track record remains intact. Missing, and it gets away from Delonzo, and the runners will move up. Braut goes to third, and Rubin goes to second.
I remember, didn't we do a game a couple years ago where Washington Township beat Edgewood like 19-7?
Yes, we did. Had a game down in Buna. St. Augustine won big over Buna. It was something like 14-8 on a grand slam. And
whenever I see you, I bring an extra scorebook now.
Whenever I see you, I'm out of ink. Missing low, ball 4. The bases are loaded with Cougars once again.
Hey, this is no lie. I covered a softball game yesterday that probably took shorter than this inning will.
You had a quick one.
50-minute game. Unbelievable. Kingsway beating Gloucester.
And we mentioned softball teams. Cherokee winning Group 4. Another one of our local teams, Bishop Eustis, still alive and playing in the Parochial A. Well, here's Rodio, just what you need with the bases loaded. He has singled twice, been hit by a pitch, intentionally walked as he tried to check his swing there, and they say he did go for a strike. Rodio also has an RBI ground out.
Maybe the biggest play was that split finger fastball. He got August on that 3-2 count.
That one is scorched high into the air in deep center field, but Lee's going to get under this one, and he squeezes it to finally retire the side. But what an inning for the Cougars as they put 8 runs on the board. They do so on 7 hits, 1 Cherokee error, and the bases left loaded. Long road ahead for Cherokee. Bottom of the 7th, they trail 16-7. Well, Mark, the last time these two schools met for a championship in any way was in football in 1990. The score was lower, 10-7 ball game.
That's right.
That game won by Cherokee. A big upset, of course, by the Chiefs that year in 1990 with Kevin Foley still a quarterback for the Cougars. Well, Scanzano will lead it off here for Cherokee. It'll be Scanzano, Pegram, and Spina. They led things off in the 6th. and got 4 runs across, but they need 9 to tie and 10 to win. And they'll have to do it off Rodio. Big thing here now here for the Chiefs. We mentioned how they've come back from so much this year. Just a demoralizing inning here for them. They have to kind of keep their spirits up and just go up and take their hacks for Bill Hassler in this last at-bat.
Ed, if they come back today, it may be the greatest comeback in the history of the state tournament. Considering who they're facing on the mound. And
we saw Rodio again with his warm-up pitches, and we saw when he faced August, he's trying to throw his breaking ball, and it looks like he's throwing a strange delivery when he throws it, and it's bouncing up there, so we might see him just stick with the fastball.
well, keep in mind, what we saw the previous inning from him is still not his vintage fastball. I still don't know if he's getting the real leg drive that he needs and everything. I mean, it's still good enough to get most hitters out. Don't get me wrong, Ed, but I've seen him throw better than that.
Cherry Hill East, as we mentioned, last won the championship in 1988. They stand 3 outs away from taking the title. And if a pattern forms here, and I wouldn't want to be the rest of Group 4 in 2008 and 2018. Here's Scanzano. He's walked, struck out, singled, and scored a run. High for a ball, 1-0. Chiefs probably taking here till they get one. There's the first strike. It's 1-1.
See, Ed, he's still pitching out of the stretch. He still doesn't have the kind of leg drive that pitch out of a regular windup.
That one foul back to the screen. It's 1-2 to Scanzano.
It's like a knuckleball we saw there.
And that's a pitch right there he hadn't thrown so far today, but maybe that's what he was experimenting with before, Mark. We saw him with like a strange delivery and the ball dropping short. It might have been his knuckleball. Over for a call, 3rd strike, struck him out. 2nd strikeout for Rodio. One down here in the 7th, and here's Marcus Pegram. On the day, he's reached base on an error, singled, and been hit by a pitch.
And let's make one thing clear. Cherokee deserves a lot of credit for making this an 8-7 game and making Cherry Hill East really sweat it out.
Pop foul down the right field side. Giving Pegram a hat there. Why not? It's 16-7. Give your guy a chance, maybe get the first ball fastball. Chiefs do deserve a lot of credit, but Cherry Hill East, they were the team that a lot of people in a very balanced Group 4, at least from the South Jersey standpoint, were eyeing as maybe the team to beat in the immediate county area. That's a breaking ball ripped into center field, and the catch is made for out number 2 by Canosa. So the Chiefs down to their last out as East is 1 out away from celebrating. Spina has struck out, flied out, reached base on a fielder's choice, and scored a run. Meanwhile, Rodio, tired arm and all, 3 batters, 3 outs.
I don't know if the arm's tired as much as it just hasn't gotten a lot of use.
Come on, Ken.
There's a look at Nate Alexander, the pinch hitter.
So Spina will not bat. Nate Alexander stepping in.
It's okay, keep us alive on 5.
Up high for a ball, 1-0. That one nubbed slowly to the right side. Fielded by Daly over to first. Rodio covering it for the first time in 10 years. Cherry Hill East wins the Group 4 championship. Well, it took 3 hours, some wild innings, and a lot of hits, but Cherry Hill East comes away with the championship. Gutty effort by Cherokee to get to the final, to come back early today. But the title belongs to Cherry Hill East, and their fans certainly can celebrate. We will take a break, and we will be back with the postgame right here on Garden State Cable. Well, it took over 3 hours here at Eastern High School, but the Cherry Hill East Cougars are champions of Group 4 high school baseball for the first time since 1988. It was a wild one, but they defeat Cherokee by a count of 16-7. The pitcher and the catcher doing the job for Cherry Hill East, and they are Mark Narducci's guest on our postgame show. Let's go to Mark.
All right, Ed, thank you very much. Here with Doug Rodio, Ralph Jedlicka, two of the senior mainstays on this team. Doug, first of all, it may not look like a big play now when you see the final score, but they have 2 runs, they're within one of you, and you have August at the plate with a full count. What did you get him with on that pitch?
I threw him a 2-seam fastball, low and in, and just got lucky, really. I've been begging to go in the game since the inning started, but he wanted to give the other guys a shot. They threw strikes, just we couldn't help him out.
I thought, too, when one of your other pitchers was warming up, you started warming up on the side. I thought that was a key because at least you got some throws in.
Yeah, I need to. My arm, I've been throwing a lot of innings. I just had to get it loose as I could. I wasn't throwing as hard as I'd like to, but I was still spotting my pitches. It's just pretty good.
Hey, senior year, winning Group 4, what's it feel like?
It's a great feeling. I've been playing with all these guys, or with or against, since I was about 8 years old. And Nick Daly and I started here as freshmen. Then the next year we had 5 sophomores starting, and finally come together as a senior class and win it all. It's just a great feeling.
Ralph, you had to handle 4 pitchers, and it's not easy with that backstop back there, too. Yet no wild pitches today, no pass balls. Tremendous job. How was it out there?
Thank you. It was really rough. I mean, none of the pitchers really had their best stuff today, but they threw good, and I mean, it's kind of also tough with the trees out there because Doug and Kyle are so tall that when they release the ball, the trees don't even help me out. I mean, I see clouds behind it. So it was tough today, but I handled them well, and they did their job.
What about the makeup of this team? Every player had at least 1 hit today. It just shows a tremendous balance of this East team.
Oh, yeah, we all came together. I couldn't believe it. I mean, we're like a family. I'd die for one of those players.
Hey, does it make it more special senior year going out with the South Jersey Group 4 championship?
Definitely. This is the first championship I've ever won, and especially with these guys, I've been playing against them since I was 7. So it's the greatest feeling of my life.
One last question, Doug. You guys win Group 4 in South Jersey. I tend to feel you're not too satisfied yet. There's a little more business you got to take care of.
Yeah, we're going to take care of those guys from up north. I think we play Tuesday at Trenton State, which should be fun just to play on that field. But I don't know who we play it, but we'll be ready.
All right, they will be ready. Ed, Doug Rodio, Ralph Jedlicka, Cherry Hill East, South Jersey Group 4 champions. Back to Ed.
Thank you, Mark. And Cherry Hill East will certainly be a fine representative for South Jersey. Looking for the first state title ever. You got to believe if their arms are rested, the Cougars have an outstanding shot to bring the state title home to South Jersey. Well, it was a wild game, as you mentioned, but Cherry Hill East, with a big 7th inning, puts it away. They defeat Cherokee by a score of 16-7. Outstanding effort by both teams to get here, but the Cherry Hill East Cougars win their first South Jersey Group 4 championship since 1988. We're going to wrap things up here on Garden State Cable's High School Sports Spotlight. Thanks to our director, Dan Morris, and the rest of the crew. We'll see you again in the summer. Come August, we'll have Tri-County swimming, and before you know it, it'll be fall. And we'll be back on the gridiron for high school football. For my partner, Mark Narducci, and everybody here at Garden State Cable, this is Ed Benkin saying so long as the sun sets here in Voorhees.